In the wake of the Game Awards, a lot of ink and rage has been spilled over Expedition 33, and there are so many things that people are saying that I just think we need to stop doing this. And I wanted to make a video about this back when the game was doing well, and there wasn't really a discussion about this. There were certainly fans, I think, that were being a little crazy. The game hadn't even been nominated yet, and I saw some very sort of bizarre narratives that were out there, and my lights are wrong. I'll fix that in a minute. Anyways, the fandom around the game was certainly exciting to see, but it turned into strange claims about the industry and what this game sort of meant for big AAA publishers as well as studios and gamers alike. But now it's worse, because anti-fans are having some of the wildest takes that I have seen in a long time about a game sweeping the Game Awards. So I want to walk through pretty much every one of the bad takes and the responses that I have seen out there. And there are some doozies. If you guys haven't been paying attention, it's probably hit your, feeds here and there. People talking about the game and did it deserve to win? And should they limit the number of awards, a game can get? Things like this. So I want to walk through these responses and have my own response. Now, if you like this kind of content, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button. A little bit of housekeeping. We are now only doing this public stream on YouTube. We're trying to kind of bring everybody home. We do need the membership on the channel to bounce back quite a bit. It's how I do this full time. I don't like talking about this sort of thing, but it's literally how this works. So if you've ever considered supporting me in the past, consider doing a Member Plus subscription. It's $6, and I offer extra content in a Discord. Thank you so much if you're doing that. If you don't do that, that's fine. Hit like, lurk, and be here as often as you can. Maybe you'll get a gifted member from somebody else. They're already going crazy in my chat. I'll thank you guys in a minute. Okay, so let's just start with the fandom claims first, because these were the ones we kind of saw earlier in the year. And these aren't exactly toxic. They're just sort of overstated. They're just sort of exaggeratory, okay? First, there are claims that this game is a warning to big AAA companies or other games, okay? Something about that, or it's some sort of a threat to the establishment. Now, current estimates state that as of October of 2025, Expedition 33 has sold over 5 million copies. Now, this is a huge achievement, and it's worthy of celebration. But a game selling 5 million copies in its launch year is not exactly a threat to any of the big publishers or studios. Even if the game sold, let's say, 10 million copies in its launch year, that would be an amazing feat. But that still would not make this game a threat. The premise of the claim seems to rest on the idea that a game selling well can somehow hurt other studios and other companies. All it represents, I think, is that we have a healthy gaming economy where a smaller studio and a smaller game can find very big success. And yes, it was only $50, which is probably going to play a role in what I'm about to talk about, but there's a current report from Circana on the top 20 games ranked according to dollar sales. Expedition 33 is not in the top 20. Helldivers 2 snagged 19th place for this year. It's only $40, and it didn't even release this year. So price point isn't exactly the issue here. There's other games in the top 20 that are not full $60 and $70 games that are generating more revenue on the year than Expedition 33 did. Again, I'm not pointing this out to take away from the game's undeniable success. It was basically tied for first place for me this year. I loved this game so much. I'm just giving some perspective to those who think this game is some kind of a threat or some kind of a disruption to the gaming space. The big players are still dominating the sales charts. Battlefield 6, NBA 2K26, Monster Hunter Wilds, Borderlands 4, EA College Football, Madden, Call of Duty, Oblivion Remastered, Ghost of Yotei. These are all games in the top 10. Funny how an exclusive snuck up there. I thought exclusives were bad and hurt sales. Anyways, and I thought Yotei flopped. Guess it didn't. Anyways, this is, I think, proof that the big established AAA games and the big publishers, they're not going anywhere. It's wonderful that Expedition 33 has found so much success, but its success is not a threat to the established order. It's not a threat to the big AAA companies, publishers, and developers. And I mean, if you want to talk about, well, it didn't generate as much money because of the price point, Elden Ring Night Reign was $40 on all platforms. It's in number 13 for the year. So again, this claim, I believe, is just massively overstated. It's not exactly toxic, it's just a little exaggerated. It's this weird tribalism about how, like, gaming is dying and Expedition 33 is going to show all these AAA studios what's what. And it's like, no, it didn't really do that. It found success and it did incredibly well, but it didn't harm or threaten any of the big players. Now, there are also some negative claims out there from the anti-fans, so let's talk about those claims. First, there are people claiming that this game is not an RPG. This is ridiculous. I already spoke on this when I reacted to the Game of the Year awards, okay? They clearly took inspiration from classic JRPGs, and they built a game in that vein. This largely comes from folks who thought that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 deserved the RPG category for the year. And I think within that category itself, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 built a far more expansive and deep and robust RPG. That's my opinion, and it's also based on what I read and what people said and how they experienced it. I don't know if I've ever seen an RPG like this, not since Baldur's Gate 3. Now, we can agree to disagree there, right? We can maybe just see the category differently. There are people that think this was clearly the best RPG of the year. That's fine. I don't want to retread that debate. But I don't think it's helpful to start claiming that a game is not an RPG when it very clearly is. And that brings me to another claim that I'm seeing getting tossed around. And that's that the Game Awards should limit how many times you can be nominated for, different categories. This makes zero sense. If a composer crushed it and is worthy of a nomination, well, then they should get the nomination and potentially then win, right? I mean, they're talking about limiting nominations in some of these takes. And I'm like, what in the world? The same goes for performances. If you have voice actors and actors who did an incredible job, they should get nominated. They shouldn't be denied recognition and a nomination and a chance at an award just because the game that they happen to work on hit so many categories. Folks are wanting other games to get a chance to shine. And sure, I get the desire for that. This year had some really cool indie titles that got a little shown here and a little overshadowed by Expedition 33. But making up arbitrary limits so that other games have a chance, that goes against the entire spirit of the event. Everyone would think differently if they were the ones that worked on the game that was sweeping. Right? Imagine that you were the composer or the voice actor that happened to work on a game that got a lot of nominations. You wouldn't want to be excluded simply because the game that you worked on was quote unquote too good. Now, the last response that I'm seeing, and this one is what some people are saying is coming from the gun and ball gamers out there, the people that only play games if they have a gun and a ball in it, which, hey, Expedition 33 has guns in it. You actually use them in the turn-based, so maybe we can get the gun and ball guys in here to play. Anyways, basically saying that the game was mid, or that this game doesn't deserve all of the quote-unquote glazing. You always know somebody's making a really strong argument when they throw around words like mid and glazing. I think it's healthy to acknowledge greatness, even if a game doesn't land on you. I did this with Baldur's Gate 3 in the year that it swept a bunch of its categories. It was not a game that appealed to me, okay? But the quality and the excellence was undeniable. I may not watch a particular sport, but I can tell when I'm watching an MVP play the game. I think this take is unnecessary. You don't need to hate the front runner. You don't need to hate on the game that's crushing it just because it's crushing it. That's ridiculous. Really, I'm somebody who's expanded my gaming horizons recently, so I would tell some of these people, maybe try some new games, try something that you haven't tried before. Now, it doesn't always work out. Dispatch is being raved about by people, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't really land on me. I typically do not enjoy those types of games. I played like one Telltale game in all of time, and it was a Borderlands game, and I played it because I liked Borderlands, but sometimes a game just won't land on you, and that's okay. I'm glad that people are enjoying Dispatch. But Returnal made me a fan of rogues as someone who never really liked them. And Expedition 33 got me to roll credits on a turn-based game, something I've never done before. That's honestly a bigger achievement than Returnal getting me to like a rogue. Don't limit yourself to gun and ball games or whatever genre that you consider your stomping ground. Even if you do, because I know sports games and racing games and fighting games will probably never land on me, I don't think it means you shouldn't take a chance sometimes. And also, don't take away from the greatness of a game just because it's not for you, especially if you didn't even play it. I can praise games that I didn't play, but it's weird to say that a game doesn't deserve an award or is mid if you haven't even touched it. So, I say all of this to say this. Can we just stop? Can we stop weaponizing games in your culture war? Can we stop weaponizing games to bludgeon bigger studios? Can we stop weaponizing games to fight over what is or isn't an RPG? Or can we stop fighting over who's a real gamer and who isn't? Just celebrate the monsoon of amazing games that we got in 2025. That we even can have this level of quality and excellence debate about which game should have been the best and which game is the best in a given category. I mean, we had so many games to debate about this year. Because as far as I can tell, we are the ones that won big time this year. So who cares who won or didn't win a given award? But those are just my thoughts, and now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Thank you so much for an insanely strong start on the video. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that like button. We already have 100 likes, and I have a bunch of people to thank. The member count is off to an amazing start. We're going to do a Frickmas Friday this Friday and next Friday if you guys can manage to hit these goals. And we are bringing the family home. We're all back on YouTube now, and so if you're going to gift and you're going to go crazy and you're going to show support, this is the place to do it. If you want to continue supporting on Twitch with primes and stuff like that, that's totally fine. Give me 1 second. I was so anxious to go live, I forgot to change the lights and the scenery there. So let me see something here. So we got Leviathaner did a member plus that I got during morning coffee, and then we got Beyond RPG Gaming and Haseo. Let me add you. And Amskin was 17 months. And then Harbinger comes in with a single and gets us to 155. And then Alex drops a 5 bomb and gets us to 160. And then Broken Earth does 10 months and says, let's go, everybody. And then he drops a 10 bomb immediately afterwards to get us to 171. And then Jack Garland drops a 5 bomb for 176. And then Sneaky Wolf drops a single to 177. Thank you guys so much. We're trying to get to 500 by the end of the week. I'm gonna be honest with you, we really need to be shooting for about double that every week right now, because we are trying to bounce that number back. If you can't do a membership or upgrade your current membership, I totally understand. If you're here, you might get a gifted. If you're chatting, you're liking, you're lurking, that helps us meet new people. So I'd love to know what you guys think about all this. Joker Quinn jumps back in with a member plus. Good to see you back in here, Joker Quinn. And the 10 bomb comes in from Cardoc Ren. He says, I supported a bunch on Twitch. I can still support here. Thank you so much, sir. I greatly appreciate that. And a member plus from Vix Vapor bumps the line to 189. Thank you very, very much. I personally don't care too much about the awards. I watched for the reveals. Death Stranding 2 was Game of the Year this year, and I'll die on that hill, says Christopher Burnett. This is a game that's so good, it's become one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Here's the thing. I don't know who gifted you a member, The Shadow, but if you want to pay it forward, you can gift a single member to somebody else. You guys can always do that. Like, just keep it rolling, keep it going forward. That is an amazing thing. We've seen that happen some days. Listen, Death Stranding 2 certainly deserved the nomination. I thought it was a phenomenal game. I really, really did. In the realm of dealing with grief and telling a serious story, I thought he did such an excellent job. I really did. I thought he did a wonderful job with his game. But I'll say this. I thought the story and the setting and the dialogue and the writing was just so much better in Expedition 33. I really, really did. The technical prowess and the technical excellence of Death Stranding 2 is undeniable. It's undeniable. It is just such a fantastic game from a technical level. You look at the characters, you look at the world, everything else. When's Death Stranding 2 coming to PC? I don't know. I think people thought it was going to get a PC announcement at the Game Awards. That didn't happen. So, I don't know. People were saying it was going to be a shorter window to PC, but Death Stranding 1 went to PC pretty quickly, too. I think it was like 8 months or something. That's not a PlayStation strategy thing. That's a Kojima thing. If we're not doing Twitch anymore, do we still want the YouTube Twitch numbers showing? I'm going to honor it for the week, and then we're going to update the tool so that it won't show Twitch and YouTube competing against each other. So yeah, this will update this tool. Who the heck thinks the video game awards are an empirical determination of the greatest game, or that the number of awards is directly proportional to its success against its peers? Jack, I think that's such an excellent point to make. I think in the grand scheme of things, when we're thinking about Expedition 33 and we're thinking about, why it won Game of the Year, winning Game of the Year essentially is somebody saying, hey, that was the game that the critics thought was the best that year. Now, that doesn't take away from the award, but I certainly think it can maybe slow down some of the ire, some of the anger, some of the frustration. Does that make sense? A single gifted from Bareth Champion. I appreciate you so much. Let me add that to the total. We're 10 away from 200. Who's going to land this plane? We're just giving up on Twitch. It's not that we're giving up. We'll still do like gameplay and stuff over there, but we are in a really, really tough spot, and we kind of need to rally the troops around YouTube. We've taken a huge hit over here because of updates that they've done to YouTube, and splitting the community and having half of them, gifting and supporting on Twitch was not helping us. It was hurting us. So unfortunately, this was a decision that I tried to avoid all this year, and we're going to bring back Green Room to YouTube as well in January. And I know that can be harmful because members' content's harmful right now on YouTube, but we're going to bring it back because I know people want it. We're doing our best to work within the realm that we're in, and it's been a tough year. So we're making a play that we hope can help fix things. Noctis comes in with a single gifted. Thank you so much. I haven't had time to play Expedition 33 yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Says Bumble Pants. It's a popularity contest for critics. The thing is that you got to understand about when something wins Game of the Year. We're not taking away from the achievement, but we're saying, listen, just look at it in context. They're not saying that you're wrong if you had a different Game of the Year this year. Like, I liked Yote more, but I have a huge bias for those types of games. I try to own that. I try to say that, whenever this comes up. It's like, listen, I liked Yote more. I put 62 hours into Yote, and I put like 26 hours into Expedition 33. Expedition 33, I played it linearly near the end. Early on, I was exploring everywhere, but about halfway through, I started just getting caught up in the story. And I'm not kidding you. It, to me, was like watching an episode of a show. I just wanted to jump to the next one, like when you're binge watching. I just wanted to move to the next thing. I was like, I got to know what happens. I want to know what's going on. And so, and I loved them both. They're virtually tied for first. But just because, like, I had a different view of it doesn't mean that I need to, like, claim that something is bad mid, or, people are claiming that Expedition 33 is not an RPG. I'm not totally on board with your argument. I can't help compare games with other experiences, and in truth, since Expedition 33 and Baldur's Gate 3, more so, I do find many more things mid. What do you mean by that, Hilly? Are you saying since you've played those games, you feel like lots of games are now mid in comparison? What if reducing things down just YouTube does not work? Will you go back to mode streaming? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's not going to be a solution. If things don't improve, we'll have to make some maybe other decisions. I'm not sure, but there's no reason to discuss that. I think we'll be just fine. We were doing this thing that we're doing right now over here on YouTube for 4 years rather successfully. I think we can get back to right where we were before. You liked Yote more than Expedition 33? So, Amskin, what was your response to Expedition 33 winning Game of the Year? Like, what was your response? Did you like, I'm curious, did anybody that's here right now have like a very strong negative reaction to it winning? Because there's a lot of weird takes out there. I'm not going to lie, Expedition 33 didn't really connect with me. Like, I hate some of the fights. I might go back to it one day, but I'm going to finish Yote and Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Listen, I've talked about this a lot recently, Will, that the idea that you should just brute force your way, like white knuckle your way through a game if you're not really clicking with it, if you're not really enjoying it, I just don't think that that's helpful. I actually think you're more likely to enjoy the game if you come back to it later than forcing yourself to finish it. Death Stranding 1, I remember that game wasn't landing on me. It wasn't landing on me. I put it down and I walked away. I'm so glad that I did. I came back to it later and was like, this is incredible. For the time being, we will be doing only things like gameplay or like special streams over there, Nova. Taking this live show right here that we're doing now, I can't do it in both places. We need the membership on this channel to bounce back. It's the lowest it's been in 4 years, and turnout's been bad, and a lot of it's because we lost our momentum. A lot of our very, very, very helpful and faithful supporters were diverting their support to purple, and it was pulling away from the momentum that we had on YouTube. So we're basically trying to kind of like bring things back to where they were. At the end of the day, I literally don't give a crap who wins the award, says Sven. It doesn't bother me. I did think Arc Raiders should have gotten a Game of the Year nod at least. I don't know if you could have taken anything off the podium for Arc Raiders. I was glad Arc Raiders won multiplayer, but I don't know. Putting a multiplayer game up there with everything that was up there, I don't know who you would unseat. Like, who would you take off the podium if you feel like Arc Raiders should have been up there and nominated? Who are you taking down? Like Donkey Kong or something? Like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Hidden Sirius says, Expedition 33 winning everything is laying it on a little thick, really exposes the bubble that the critics and the enthusiast award show live in. You think they live in a bubble? Because if you look at if the public response was also overwhelmingly positive, it wasn't just the critics that loved Expedition 33. It felt like it was pretty much everybody. $5 super chat tip from WGC says, the Game Awards are closer to MTV Movie Awards than the Oscars. I put more weight in the DICE Awards when it comes to honoring the impact of a game. Galleon says, I loved Expedition 33. I expected it to sweep, deserved to sweep. It's a generational game. I think it's undeniable. We'll look back on it like we did Final Fantasy VII before the remake. You would have taken Donkey Kong off the podium. I think the media darling treatment of Expedition 33 has gotten from the critics is a bit too much. Well, then what's your response to what I just said, though? Like, I'm curious. The public loves this game. Like, so you're like, oh, the media darling and the critics live in a bubble. Do they live in a bubble when the game has a 97% on Steam? Do you know how hard it is to maintain a 97% when you're closing in on 100,000 reviews? Like this is masterpiece level score. Like I don't think I would agree at all that like, oh, they live in a bubble and that's why this thing got so much media darling and so much glazing. It's like, but it's got a 97% on Steam. That seems to be like, that's like a masterpiece level response. Like when that many people are voting for a game that consistently, like with a thumbs up. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how the Game Awards lose credibility when a game wins that an individual doesn't like. When we said Expedition 33 was Game of the Year back in May, we all got accused of recency bias, yet here we are 7 months later, and I love it more. I don't think anybody ever accused me of recency bias. I was saying that it would likely get Game of the Year from the very beginning. You know what I mean? From the first trailer, I thought, that looks like a Game of the Year to me. That just looks like it just looked like one of those games that people were going to gush over and that people were going to lose their minds about. I don't know. It totally did to me. That's what it looked like to me. From the earliest stages, I was like, that looks like it's going to be really good. And I even said, that'll get me to probably play a turn-based game and roll credits on a turn-based game. Because for the longest time, turn-based games have just never really gotten in rotation with me. It's not that I don't like them. It's that I just don't get into a groove. I'm like, I tried FF7 back in the day. I tried Super Mario RPG back in the day. I tried Pokemon on my Game Boy Color. I played Child of Light. I got pretty far in Child of Light, and even that one, eventually I just got kind of sick of it. And that's a really good turn-based game, by the way. I love that game. I wish I could have gone the distance with it. I was playing it co-op with Madam, and we were really enjoying it. Maybe we should go back to it. I don't think Expedition 33 was that much better enough to eclipse every other nominated game in each of the categories. I think that's a fair opinion. You just don't think it was good enough to eclipse all the other games. You know, I get that. I think that it was. I thought it was a very special game. Nova says, I remember that conversation. You actually brought Expedition 33 to my attention before it launched. I would have never considered playing it. It ended up being my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorites. Isn't that great? How that works? Even though I don't connect with Clair Expedition. Even though I don't connect with Expedition 33 as much as Yote and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I can admit Expedition 33 is a beautiful game and it's well made, and I won't be shocked if people copy the combat in the future. And a VIP comes in from FastFlex. Let me add you to the total. We are super close to the next milestone of 200. I'll owe you guys some members. Thank you, everybody who continues to support the channel. If you have ever considered doing a membership before, now is the time. If this is the kind of show that you like and you like that it's here every day, that's what makes this work. And I appreciate so many of you that have been supporting. If you click join and pick Member Plus, that is just a huge need that we have. We've been talking about that for a couple years now more than ever. If you can't, I get it. You might get it gifted from somebody else. 88,000 reviews and a 97 makes me think that Ark with more reviews and is still very high positive makes it better than Ark with more reviews and is still high positive rating. Hang on a second, Sage. I'll respond to what you're saying. Fast Flex with a 193. Thank you so much. Okay, so Sage, you're kind of ripping my comment out of context. I wasn't talking about it versus Ark Raiders. J-Dog with a 5-bomb gets us to 198. Thank you so much for moving the member line that close. Lona did the same thing for me with Returnal. It looked lame to me, but I gave it a shot. It's top 5. Oh my gosh. The RNG in Returnal is tilting me a little bit. I've got 2 guns that I need to get the final perks on, and buddy, they will not drop for me. It's very irritating. It honestly feels like the RNG is weighted against giving you, perks that you don't have yet. Anyways, so I need to respond to what you're saying, Sage. I was absolutely not making the argument that Expedition 33 is better than Ark because of its Steam score. Ark has clearly gone viral and has way more people buying it and playing it. That's undeniable. No one's going to try to dispute that game is more popular. Like, not at all. Ark Raiders will probably, at the end of the year, be in the top 20. It's not currently in the top 20 game sales this year, but it'll get there, I'm sure. Here's the thing. When I was bringing up the review score on Steam, I was arguing against somebody who said, oh, the critics are kind of in a bubble. They're just kind of all in this bubble, and that's why they're all kind of glazing it. And I'm like, now hang on a minute. And I go to the public score and say, the public score seemingly matches what the review outlets were saying. Do you understand my argument now? I was not saying that Expedition 33 is better than Ark. They're such different games. That's not really a comparison I think is worth making. They're so utterly different. Good to be back in the Discord. What's good, Joker Quinn? It's like calling Dragon Age the Fail Guard not gay. Okay. I'm really trying to understand your position. So you think it is gay. I mean, there was a lot of gay stuff in it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what your position is. The Game Awards should do what the Golden Joystick Awards do with Best Indie and Best Self-Published Indie Game. My only complaint is regarding Expedition 33 sweep. Otherwise, you know what? I actually think a self-published category could be added. There's a lot of debate going on in Expedition 33. This is another conversation that's been going on. People are basically saying that Expedition 33 isn't an indie because it has a publisher, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's right, very Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think we're getting a little into the crazy weeds when people are going to try to argue, well, it's not an indie because it has a publisher. Okay, anything that comes out from Devolver Digital is an indie then, right? Devolver Digital is a publisher. There are publishers that quite literally, that's their goal, is to help publish independent games, which are studios that nobody owns. That's the more traditional publisher relationship. Like if you look at the indie category, it says this is for developers that work outside the traditional publisher relationship. So when you're independent, it means you're independent. You're not owned by a publisher. That doesn't mean you can't have a publisher. You can be totally independent working on a project and you approach Devolver Digital. They help you bring it to the market. You are still an independent studio and your game should still be classified as an indie. So Sandfall getting publishing dollars from Kepler doesn't change the fact that Sandfall is independent and that they came together as a studio and this was their debut independent game. So this conversation about Expedition 33 and the reason I wanted to do this show is like, can we just stop? Just because a game won doesn't mean we need to be doing some type of a dissection of every single thing that has ever been said about it, whether it's an indie or whether it's an RPG, or, you know, I saw people trying to say, well, they're not really indie because like one of the people at the studio has like a rich dad or something. And I'm like, wait, what the frick? Like, so now we're doing that as well? You can contract your game with the publisher after the fact, after it's made. That is still indie. That can also happen. Anything to discredit Expedition 33. It's really bizarre to me. It's really bizarre. And I do think some people are trying to turn this into something it's not. They're trying to act like, well, they're trying to discredit Expedition 33 because, you know, culture war. And I'm like, no, that's not what's happening here. The people that are trying to discredit Expedition 33 a lot of the times are, I don't know, there's definitely an aspect of the ball and gun gamer going on. I think there's also just the aspect of like people don't like to see something at the top. They like to tear something down. So if something's doing well, people hate it. If a team is winning every you know, championship game, everybody hates them. That's certainly a factor a lot of the times in something like this. Seeing something win a bunch makes everybody go, "Oh man," and then they have reasons to dislike it. Publishers rarely ever want to give up the IP rights. Unironically, happened to Destiny 1 with Activision. Microsoft wanted IP rights, so they found Activision. Then Destiny 2 happened. Classic scammeroo. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying is a scam. Alex comes in with 39 months and a member plus, and he says, "Home, sweet home." 199, and there it is. Stone Spire lands the plane at 200, but we're not going to stay there very long. Rissick with the 50 bomb gets us to 250. I want to see some farty bombs in chat. My son lovingly calls 50 bombs farty bombs because he turns everything into farts and toots, and Alex does a single Agent of Chaos to push us past that 250 number. Thank you guys so much. We are well on our way and back on track. If we get this to 500, we'll do Frickmas Friday. If you guys get it to the stretch goal, I'll sing some Christmas carols. That might not be a good incentive. Maybe you guys might stop gifting if that's the incentive. We'll see. I feel like you guys like when I sing Christmas carols because I'm like not terrible, but I'm also not good. I'm in like the, oh, okay, he understands tone. Listen. If you guys hit the stretch, we'll have a fun time. Let's just say that. Why can't people be happy moving on and not playing Expedition 33? That's a joy in and of itself. If you don't like the game. He's a man. Everything's about farts. That's right. Banshee comes in with 32 months and bumps the line. Thanks for the great content. Bet $6 I spend all month. Also, Rissick once again dropped 50 at the same time that I renew. Well, ride the Rissick 50 bomb elevator. You love to see it. We'll see if anybody's going to come in and try and go toe-to-toe with Rissick today. Sometimes we get little battles going on, and Rissick is currently wearing the crown, so thank you so much. If you guys manage to not get a gifted, just keep hanging out, listen, liking, make sure you're chatting, and let's try to get 200 likes on the video. We're only about 30 minutes into the broadcast, and we appreciate you guys being here so much, so make sure that you are doing that. Make sure you're getting those likes pressed. That does help us as well. You're in the don't quit your day job category for singing, but we love it. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's not bad. How many subs for a shirtless Santa? Yeah, I got Alex's single gift that I did. I won't do a shirtless Santa, but if we do 1,000 this week, which we really need it, we're missing a whole week when I was gone for Thanksgiving. If you guys get me to 1,000, we will do a Santa. I will dress up as Santa. Madam will love that because she loves Santa. And a 5 bomb comes in from ABC, D, E, F, G, H, high 9 up. We're just going to call you ABC. Thank you so much for the 5 bomb with the long name in the chat. I appreciate it so much. You're a good classic B movie. Speaking of which, Demolition Man won Sci-Fi Channel. Was on Sci-Fi Channel the other night. It was a must watch. There you go. I can't sing for crap and wouldn't sing on stream, so I tip my cap to you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the warning, Lono. I'll get my earplugs. We got a ways to go, boys. You haven't even unlocked Friday night yet, so we'll see. You guys are going to all need to link arms here and make this work. And make sure it is saving your like. The like count's doing that thing again where I'm like, y'all, we need some likes, and it like literally doesn't move. So YouTube could be having some issues there. Double check it's saving that thumbs up. Yo, what's good, Khaled? How are you? Hilly says agree with Cat Uncle. What did Cat Uncle say? I think clarifying the indie category a little more and maybe splitting performance into lead and support. Member Plus from Mr. 1030, 37 months says, morning Lono in chat, will you be streaming No Rest for Wicked live stream? That's the day, is it not? I'd be happy to react to it, sure. I've got some other things and segments and articles and things we could react to later in the stream. We like to keep the first hour or so on topic, and then we can obviously drift into other things. And a 5-bomb comes in from Hangry Higgs, and he says, boys, let's all band together and make this happen. Thank you so much, Hangry Higgs. Come on, Lono, sing with me. Jingle Bell Rock. No. You you got to earn that. You got to earn me singing if you want singing to happen. You want to mess with the white balance of this stream with the shirtless Santa. RPGs have basically dominated the Game of the Year winners for a few years now, outside of Astrobot breaking it up. Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Expedition 33. People who don't like these games are getting restless. We've got you, Lono. I appreciate it very, very much. And a 5-bomb comes in from Alex to keep the member train alive. We're at 268. Thank you so much, Alex. I greatly appreciate it. We play Starfield when it comes to PS5. If there is the rumors about the big update, if it's a transformative update, I'll give it a try. But that game bores me, so probably not. We'll see. I mean, obviously, I'll take a little victory lap of being like, I told y'all it was coming, and it took a long time, but yeah, we'll see. We're hearing some rumblings. I'll react to that later in the stream as well. Here's one of the things that people were saying about the Game Awards that I do think is helpful. I actually think this is helpful. In the wake of Expedition 33 sweeping so many categories, okay, I actually think it's helpful to say maybe we should have a lead performance and supporting performance category. I think that's great feedback, right? I met Jennifer English. She's a delight. She is wonderful. I was so glad that she won. I've gotten emotional playing video games like twice in my life. And this was the third time, and it was her stinking performance. Like, she absolutely killed me in a couple of scenes. So I think that's helpful. Having a lead performance category and a supporting performance category, totally helpful, and could totally work. And would definitely, help get people to, get more recognition. I love the idea of having a little bit more of recognition there for people that, might not have been able to outdo, a lead performing, performance of somebody. And the other thing I think that we've heard that I think has been helpful is the idea of like, what if we had a self-published indie category and then just like an indie category. So debut indie, and then self-published. Don't even call it indie. Don't even muddy the waters. Just go debut indie, self-published. Because there are plenty of games that self-published that I think it'd be really, really cool to recognize them for that. To say, hey, you guys didn't even get publishing dollars. You just did this on your own. TJ Boom Boom says, stop it. Oh, stop it. Stop what? I think some people are going to take what that guy says in his speech and use it against AAA because he said that learn how to make games by watching YouTube videos. Well, I don't necessarily think the takeaway from what he said was, AAA is a joke or, AAA is a waste or what have you. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he was basically saying, figure things out, learn, adapt, educate yourself, get in the ring and try to do something, try to fight, try to make something. I don't know if the takeaway there is that, oh yeah, you should definitely be not buying AAA games and people should be making games from watching YouTube. And Alex gifts another member and gets us to 269. Nice. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to be shipping out a bunch of coffee this week from the orders, so if you're trying to get them, they'll get to them in time. And Alex lands the plane at 270, puts us a 5-bomb away from the next milestone at 275. I'm going to owe you guys a 5-bomb any minute now. I think I might owe it to you when we hit 275 because I haven't paid it back yet. We had the passion, we had to find the skill. Right. That was something I talked about in the show open. Like, I don't think Expedition 33's success is this, like, indictment of AAA, an indictment of big studios. You like the Smashing Pumpkin shirt? Thank you. I'm actually getting a little warm in the studio, so let's get more of the Smashing Pumpkin shirt visible. You got a gifted? Hey, congratulations on getting the gifted. You'll be able to come to, morning coffee. And guys, Green Room, the end of the day segment, Green Room is coming back to YouTube in January. So you want to be at a Member Plus, or you can't come to Green Room, okay? It's not going to be in the Discord. Well, it'll be in the Discord, but we're going to bring it back to YouTube in January. So between now and January, you want to make sure you're at Member Plus and above. And Mike on a Mike gifts a member, and Winged Wheel drops a 5 bomb and gets us to 276. Thank you so much for doing that, boys. Let me see, where were we at the start of the stream? I can't even remember. When did I put up? I had the member goal up right at the beginning by mistake. We were at 152, so that's 125. Yes, I owe you guys a 5 bomb right now. I do. I'm going to pay up. Let me get all the way caught up here. Don't know who gifted me a membership, so thanks. High-powered Beaver, are you on the wrong account? Because you don't have a badge. If you have multiple accounts, it may have gone to a different one. There you go. I'm all paid up. What I owe you. If you guys got a gifted membership, welcome. When Lono's bicep comes out, how'd that get in there? What? What are you talking about? What were we saying? We were talking about the different categories. Expedition 33. Oh, yeah. I don't think Expedition 33 is this threat to AAA or the industry or whatever. I just don't think so. Does anyone know if Zenless on Zero gave in-game awards for Video Game Award notes? I heard that, but don't know if it's true. Yeah, I thought people were saying that they were giving people to like vote in the player's choice. They were giving people something in game to go vote or something, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, that's why we don't. If that's why we don't do it that way. Like if Game of the Year was determined by like people just voting, that's the kind of voting that would happen. You'd have people literally voting so that they could get like something in something in the game or whatever. Like that can get, I think, a little absurd personally. I mean, look, it's fine if they wanted to do it, get the bag, get the recognition, but come on. It's not really in the spirit of the contest. I know the Starfield red herring came around some days ago. Yeah. Bro Sexy with 42 months in a VIP. I've been gaming for 45 years, and Expedition 33 did things to me I never thought a game could do. All the accolades are well-deserved. Looking forward to what Sandfall does next. Count it. We're counting it. We're at 277. Thank you so much, Bro Sexy, for bumping that member line. We're super close to 200 likes as well, so thank you guys for doing that. I've said it before, democracy just doesn't work. Wuthering Waves gave players in-game currency after they won, but not for voting. Oh, maybe people were false reporting then. I saw people making that claim that like one of the games was like giving you a reward if you went and voted or whatever. And I was like, that's not really what this is supposed to be about. Anthony says, Green Room back on YouTube is awesome for sure. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully, we would really, really like to see that. That's the biggest and most important number for what we do. I really mean it. The most we've ever had is about 600 people at Member Plus, and we're in like the mid 400s now. So we really need that to bounce back. We would really like to see more and more folks grab that Member Plus and then let the gifteds be extra. So I could see ZZZ doing that. I haven't played in a few months though. Thank you to whoever gifted me a membership. If you guys get a gifted membership, be sure to say thank you. We appreciate all the positivity. Even if you just chat for a little bit while we're talking here about Expedition 33's Game of the Year win. We have been talking about Expedition 33 for a while. And I really, really like seeing a game like this just kind of stand so tall. I think it's exciting for gaming. I think the weaponizing of it is what I don't like. The developers made a really, really great game. I don't think that they're enthused about it being turned into like a battle. People are trying to use the game to sort of, bludgeon other studios and publishers. And I'm just like, I just don't think that that's in the spirit of them winning. That doesn't seem like you're celebrating them winning. It feels like for some people there's something else going on. It's like, this really doesn't seem to be about gaming. This seems to be about something else entirely. Like, is this really, you know, in the spirit of being a fan of a game? You know, is that fandom? I don't know if it is. Expedition 33 is not a threat to AAA, but it should serve as a wake-up call. Throwing hundreds of millions at a game and massive teams are not needed to create a masterpiece. I don't disagree with what you're saying, Hadigan, but here's the problem. So many of these big, huge studios with these big, huge budgets make games that make tons of money. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, that's kind of how they're probably going to look at it some of the times. You should give Baldur's Gate 3 a chance. Maybe you'll enjoy it now. Yeah, maybe. The problem with a game like Baldur's Gate 3 is it's so dense and it's so huge and would require so much playtime. I'd have to play that game co-op, and there's no way my wife wants to play that. There are certain games, like I gave another example of that with like Where Winds Meet. I think Where Winds Meet looks great and fun, and I liked it when I played it. But I'm like, I don't have time for a live service game right now. And if I'm going to play a live service game, I would need to be able to play it co-op. I would need to be able to play the game with Madam, and she would never play Where Winds Meet, at least not for very long. You know what I mean? I'd love to see you do a Baldur's Gate 3 run. It's a feast. It's a very, very dense game. I can see the quality and the excellence in the design and what they built. I really, really can. But my issue has always been, I just do not have the time for a game like that right now. It would need to be something I could sit on the couch and plug away every night for multiple hours with Madam. Because we played it, I think we played it on stream, split screen for you guys, a long, long time ago for members. And it was certainly funny watching us try to figure it out. But I don't know how entertained we would be after a while. I literally tried to turn it on. I feel like I tried to turn it on like a week later on console in the living room. And like just navigating the menus and trying to get started, I couldn't figure something out. And I was like, you know what? We played this on a Friday night weeks ago. I can't remember any of the stuff that we did. We just shut it off. I was like, this isn't going to work. Isn't Where Winds Meet a gacha? I don't think so. I've not heard that. Maybe it has gacha pull elements with some of the monetization, but I don't think it is at its core. I think at its core it's like an open world MMO kind of a game. Like, I don't necessarily think there could be gacha pull mechanics in it or something, but I don't think it's considered a gacha game by the people who play it. I don't even know if you could classify it as that. Didn't you say? I only have 908 hours. Right. No gacha, only cosmetics. Well, do you pull for cosmetics in the gacha fashion? Is that how that is set up? Only the outfits are gacha. Okay. Well, if they keep it that way, if it's only cosmetic, I'm prone to look the other way and be like, I'll let that ride. I'm not a fan of the pity mechanics and the gacha pull mechanics. I don't like how they typically are structured, from a monetization standpoint, but it's gacha light. Okay. Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3 was outstanding in every way. I didn't even get bothered by the turn-based combat because the rest of the game was so great. Yeah, I mean, I think I could get over the turn-based in that game if it was a little bit more approachable for someone like me. Like, I'm casual dad gamer. Asmon really likes Where Winds Meet. But I'm very much casual dad gamer, and so, like, it's very difficult for me to play a game when it has that level of density and complexity. I'm just like I feel like blood's going to squirt out my nose any minute when I'm, like, reading the menus. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know. I know where I am right now as a gamer. I know my sentimentality and my temperament, and there's just certain things that don't work. I think you and Madam would do better with a guide, to be honest. To elevate the density. Someone just to guide. Oh, someone just to guide. I played it for about 3 hours, but it was kind of dense. What was the line the other day? Helldivers 2 has fumbled content. I'm at 1,200 hours. Story mode, Dad? A little bit. Yeah. A little bit. I kind of wear that badge proudly. I know people try to use that as like a pejorative. They're like, well, you're a casual and it's a skill issue. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. I'm not fast enough or skilled enough for some of these games. I don't have the temperament for it. I'm not going to try to get good. I'm just going to I'm going to go play something else. You know what I mean? I don't try to put on airs about like my skill. I can, if need be, sort of lock in, as the kids say. Like I feel like I did a very good job playing through Sekiro and Dark Souls 3 for the most part. I was fine in Elden Ring. I checked out mentally at the end. I just let, my summons beat everything. But like when it comes to a game like Baldur's Gate 3, I know my sentimentality and I know my skill and I know my mind. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a match. I'm not a match. We don't line up. It's like you're swiping or matching on like those dating apps. And certain games we just don't match. Can't mention AI in any capacity without the anti-AI crowd pouring down hate. Simply state of society right now. I think the AI hate is just another symptom of people that need to feel some level of self-importance and whatever they can attach themselves to in the moment and wage war against. Like, I think there are genuine concerns, but the way that people are being about it, like the way they're posturing and attacking and virtue signaling against like Larian and stuff, it's I don't know. It seems like there's something else going on. It's like this doesn't really seem to be about the issue. It seems like this is like a cultural trend now. Which I think gets back to the Expedition 33 stuff. Like, the before Expedition 33 was even nominated for anything, people were using the game tribalistically. They were using the game tribalistically. It was like, yeah, this game is a loud and clear message to AAA, or yeah, they better take notes. This game is a threat. And then you look at the top 20 games this year as far as like revenue is concerned, like what games sold the most, according to like dollars, and Expedition 33 is not in the top 20. Now that doesn't take away from its massive success. It could squeak into the top 20 once all of December is counted, because it had a boost in sales because of the Game Awards, right? The current report only goes through like November. So once we have all of December, it could certainly squeak in, but it's not upsetting the big AAA games that are at the top, that are just generating stupid amounts of money. It's like, it's just not happening. No, there's no AAA studio or publisher that's like, oh no, Expedition 33 has completely changed the narrative around gaming. We better change our ways or we're next. We're in trouble. You know what I mean? Yote being top 10 is incredible. It's amazing. It's amazing how it made it into the top 10 after all of the people claimed it was a flop and didn't do well. And on the day that we learn it's top 10, like the co-founder of Sucker Punch like leaves the company after 28 years. And they're like, oh, it must not have done very good. That's why he's leaving. I'm like, oh my gosh. No words for the level of critical thinking that's out there. In my opinion, Sven is a guy who earns some trust. If he says AI can be useful, we're using it, then that attests to the usefulness of AI. I'm not saying he's infallible, but he's a good horse to bet on. Well, and it's clear that there are differing opinions about its use and where it can be or shouldn't be used, for sure. So, if you guys haven't hit the like button yet, take a quick second to hit the like button. If you've been lurking and not chatting, take a quick second and just chime in and give your opinion on something and then go back to lurking. We appreciate you so much. Lurkers are the lifeblood of a live stream, and we thank you so much for listening in today and contributing to the conversation. We appreciate it very, very much. And we are discussing Expedition 33 and kind of the dialogue surrounding it. And we've got some other news stories we'll be reacting to in the coming moments in the stream here. Retiring after completing a major successful project is unheard of. Yeah. Usually, working and lurking, we got your back. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all that work and lurk, man. It means a lot. I think that an argument is about AAA RPG studios not COD and NBA. So can you give me an example of an RPG studio that you feel like is being put on notice by Expedition 33? Like, let's tease this out a bit. let's say that's what they mean, Vithar. Like, okay, they're not really talking about AAA in general, which they are if you watch the videos or read the tweets. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe they just mean, the AAA studios that make these types of games. Do you have a publisher in mind that you feel like Expedition 33 kind of throwing down the gauntlet on? Because obviously seeing Battlefield 6 at the top of the sales chart over Call of Duty is, that's something, isn't it? But, that's, I think, more of a direct relationship you can see, like one game potentially kind of pulling from another and making their life a little bit difficult. Square Enix. I thought you were going to say Square. I was like, I bet you they say Square. But I didn't want to put the thought out there. I wanted to see what you were going to say. Okay, so Square Enix. Okay. Anybody else? Just Square? Because I think Square's been kind of making their own bed as of late. Like, I don't think they need a whole lot of help, if that makes sense. Like, they've had some good work with, with FF16 and, that's a different, isn't that like a subsidiary of Square? I forget how FF16 came, but like, a lot of what they've done with their games, like if we just look, Square Enix games this year, they've been doing good work with FF14, so it's hard to take away credit there. They also did they do the Tactics remake, or did somebody else do that? Isn't FF16 like a subsidiary of Square? I always forget how that breaks down. It's like a different group within Square. I'm playing Cast and Chill right now. It's pretty chill. I think you and Madden would do better. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. I was trying to catch up in the Discord. They're in there talking about my bicep. Lurking here as well, says Palad Evan. As a fan of turn-based, of course I'm a little biased for Expedition 33. I want more games like it, honestly. FF16 is from one of the devs they have. Okay, so it's like a developer beneath them. That's right. Okay. I don't know. Like, I feel like Square went back to the well a little too often, and it started to hurt them financially a little bit. But I don't think Square is, like, pushing out, like, bad games. Unless you have examples. Like, I can't think of any. Like, I liked FF16 and FF14. People are constantly praising that game as far as I can tell. And then... I don't know if they were the ones that worked on the stuff with, like, Octopath and... Tactics, like, did they have other companies working on those? Because I know Tactics was like a remake that people loved. I think it won one of the awards, didn't it? It won like the sim category, or what was the category? It's more than sim. It's like 3 different things. It's just different teams. Okay. I want that game to come to Switch. Cast and Chill. Octopath is fantastic, apparently, and there's like 3 of them. Yeah, I get a little confused by some of those franchises that I'm not familiar with. I'm like, wait, is this different? Why is this? This is 0? What's that compared to the others? Because I'm like, if you're not like tuned in, like especially if you're not tuned to Final Fantasy, it can get a little confusing because you've got like FF16, and then you got FF14, and you got FF7 Remake and Rebirth, and apparently there's going to be a 3rd one. I don't know what they're going to call it. I can be in 2 chats still. This is fun. What's good, Alex? I'm playing it on the Switch, says Egyptian Magicians. It came out today. Well, there you go. There you go. Cast and Chill. It's a cozy indie fishing game where you explore lakes, rivers, and oceans. I mean, seems like a very, very smart play to make a cozy game where you fish after Dave the Diver was so successful. Turn-based fans are eating good from Baldur's Gate 3 in 2023 last year with Metaphor Refantasio. That's the one last year. Wasn't Metaphor Refantasio nominated for Game of the Year as well? And then we get Expedition 33 this year. All 3 of them are nominated for Game of the Year. I think the draw is like their classic Final Fantasy in the modern day. 16 sold like 3.3, I think. It's just different teams. So would you say, Vithar, that you think it's not that Square Enix has been necessarily making bad games. You just think like commercially they're not as strong as they once were. Is that kind of how you view it? It feels like the third feels like a third trimester game to me. Oh yeah. Yeah, especially handheld. You know, just once you get that, once the belly is big enough to prop something on, and a 10 bomb comes in from Rissick. He's like, boys, the member train slowed down. What are we doing? Thank you so much, Rissick. Guys, if you didn't get the memo, we are kind of bringing things back home here on YouTube. We are trying to kind of fix something that was brewing over the year, and we didn't want to talk about it a bunch. I tried not to draw a ton of attention to it, but we are attempting to bring the team back home. So if you're watching here on YouTube, it helps. If you're hitting like, if you do a member plus, or if you gift, that is our big focus right now. We're trying to get that member count back where it previously was, and we appreciate everybody that has been contributing to that so much. And thank you for ordering some coffee. Almir ordered 2 bags of Frickmas. Guys, our medium roast and light roast are $10.95 a bag right now. Like, that's cheaper than the coffee you can get in the grocery store. We're trying to work our way through our inventory so you can get a great price on some coffee because of that. And Charles Freeman drops a 5 bomb and gets us to $2.92. Thank you so much, Charles Freeman. Super close to that 300 line, which would get us on pace all the way up to yesterday if we're wanting to hit that 500 for Friday night. So thank you so much, everybody who has been ordering the coffee. We've been trying to send those out in batches so that you'll have them in time for stocking stuffers or gifts. If you're going to a holiday, a holiday office party, makes for a great gift. Hattigan says 3 more likes at 200. Thank you, Hattigan. Period. Not a question for the second sentence. Are people still talking about game key cards? It was a huge deal on YouTube for like 2 weeks, and now I barely have ever brought it up. Rissick comes in and bumps the line with a single. Thank you so much, Rissick. The key card thing on Switch is super annoying. I hate the whole thing they built. I can't stand it. If I've got games on my Switch 1 that I want to install on my Switch 2, I basically have to go and like release the game on my profile. If I didn't have my original Switch to power on and like confirm that I have the games or what have you, to like release them to my Switch 2, which is stupid because it's my own dadgum profile. It's like, I don't understand this. It's terrible. The key cards. I think the key card drama was about how like you can literally buy a game and it's not a physical game. And T-Man Grove with the 20 bomb throws us well over the milestone of 300. Thank you so much, T-Man Grove. I really appreciate it, guys. We are attempting to put the ship back on course. Really, right now, this week and next week, we need to try to get like 1,000 on the members. And renewals and upgrades help, and gifteds help big time. That is kind of where we are. We're trying to do this before we kind of cross over into the new year. Didn't they go back on that? I actually don't know. I didn't follow it, Vithar. I just know that on my personal unit, it's annoying. I have games that I own, and it's like a nuisance to just try to like install a game that I own on my Switch 2. I think the whole system is stupid. You don't have the Switch 2 set as your primary console. I just data transferred and don't have that problem. Maybe I just need to do that and be done with it. I just turned it on, logged in, and thought, I'm logged in. It's me. Let me have my stuff. You know what I mean? I've seen a few VODs about key cards. They are very annoying when you have multiple Switches in the house. Yeah, I'm constantly, because I have multiple Switches, and so my kiddos are wanting a game, and I have to like lend it to them. That's another nuisance. I did a reaction earlier this week, Sage, to the marathon video. If you want to go watch my reaction to that, it's on the channel. My Cliff's Notes is that it certainly looks better, but I think they have a long way to go. Because I think live service is challenging. I think they have a PR problem. They have a perception problem. They have a first impressions problem. Bungie as a company, people are not really happy with right now. They're kind of, they're kind of skiing uphill, as it were. Hey, Almir, the one that just ordered some coffee, did a 10 bomb of members. Thank you so much for doing that. That is so generous to help us with that big goal. And I appreciate it so much. And thank you. We will get that coffee sent out to anybody that orders before the weekend. We'll get all that sent out to y'all. So you'll have it in time for Christmas. You should have it in time for Christmas if you order. Keycards are not going anywhere, especially with the cost of chips skyrocketing. Yeah, probably not. I think if you're not going to put the full game on the disc or the cartridge, then don't bother with the physical release. Well, here was a piece about that came up. I believe it was John Linneman from Digital Foundry that sort of illuminated me on this topic, because I had never heard of this before. He said that getting into retail is a really big deal for smaller companies and smaller studios, and not having to actually have the physical discs in the thing is actually really helpful for them to keep costs down. So there is an economic aspect here for smaller companies especially, that can actually be helpful to them. I'm not saying that it's good and I'm like, oh yeah, this definitely should do it. And Alex is going to gift one. We're one away from the next milestone of me owing you guys a member. I actually owe you one right now. I gift a member every 25. I did one at 275, so I owe you for the 300. We're about to hit it again, and Alex lands the plane at 325, and I owe you guys 2 singles. Thank you so much, Alex, for doing that. Every 25, I gift one to pay it forward and to say thank you and just continue to grow the community. I talked about this a little bit this morning in Morning Coffee. I know we had a little bit of a snag earlier this year because you can use, different currencies to gift. I don't care about that. We're growing the community. So if you want to support the channel, that is support. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't support because of that. That was something that was an oversight on my part, and I own that. And we are now at the point where it's like, you get people in this community, you get them in the member pool, and they get in the Discord like Ristic with the 50 bomb, taking us all the way to 375. This man on his own, just carrying the day. I would love to see some farty bomb spam in chat. Keep it going. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. You miss Mash? I have said many times that he's always welcome back here. We appreciated him, and I still do. Barrett comes in with a single gifted. That's an Agent of Chaos and pushes us one past 375. Zubair says effing Ristic. Yeah, Ristic with the 50 bomb. Yeah, Team YouTube. That's right. We will update that tool very soon. We will update that tool very soon. I love seeing all these names I recognize get gifteds. I think we should refer to Expedition 33 as a Souls-like turn-based game. Is that what you were... Did that get pushed out of chat, Zubair? Is that what you're mad about? I always liked when somebody was tag teaming, right? And trying to compete, you know what I mean? We had some of those dudes that would just come in and go to war with their gifting. The like button. That's right. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Thank you so much for being here. If you're just now tuning in, we've been talking about Expedition 33. And one of the things I said, and a 10 bomb comes in from Mike on the mic and gets us really close to 400. Thank you so much, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. Are you streaming on? No. We did a little stream over there this morning, Jay, so I could kind of inform them about what's going on. I want a Frickmas Friday and a $5 super chat from Ristic. Thank you so much, Ristic. I greatly appreciate that. He wants a Frickmas Friday. Got to wear the Santa hat. We hit stretch. I got to sing carols. You hit the other stretch. I got to dress up and wear a whole Santa suit. I don't know where I'm going to get one, but I'll find one if we hit it. Times like these, I just give up having a convo, says Zubair. It's understandable. But if you're just tuning in, what we're doing is we're talking about Expedition 33, and sort of my too long didn't read from the show open is there's just been a lot of really weird and odd takes about Expedition 33 in particular. And I have found it to be a little frustrating. I don't necessarily think it is, helpful to be, weaponizing the game and claiming it's some win in a culture fight. I also think people are trying to downplay the game and act like it's no good or act like it's mid and everything else. And I don't think these takes are, a lot of times I don't even know if the takes are made in good faith. I think it's just kind of I don't want to like this thing because it's popular, or I think this thing is getting, overhyped or it's overrated. Toxic Generosity, the coffee is good. I ordered 2 bags of the coffee, bro. I hope it's good. Oh, you just now ordered some? People in chat weigh in about the coffee. You are getting a really, really good price, by the way. This coffee, we have been told by folks, should be going for more, about $20 a bag, but we are trying to work through our inventory so it can benefit you. Thank you, Exodius, for ordering a bag of Light and a bag of the Frickmas. I thank you very much. And then Noberto comes in with a triple threat. Thank you so much. So generous. That is a great way. By the way, this is not a sponsor and this is not white label. We did flavor matching with a company that brews, that actually roasts the coffee for us, and then they bag it and ship it to me. Okay, so this isn't like something you can buy elsewhere. This is ours. There was a time where I worked with a coffee company, and we sent these guys the coffee, and they were able to flavor match. So we have multiple flavors. My wife and kiddos put little thank you notes in the bag. It's basically like supporting a small business. It's not a sponsor. It's not white label. This is ours. It's in boxes over there in next to my kiddos' library. Coffee's good. I really enjoyed the Frickmas. Thank you. I never tried the coffee, but I'm told that it's good at not melting. This is true. It's great on a French press. Yes, I've heard that as well. They're just hating on the game, Lono. That's all it is, says Gone Kid. Could the coffee be sent to Canada? Unfortunately, right now, shipping outside of the U.S. is absurd, so we don't do it. You as the customer, it's exorbitant, and I don't. You give so much money to the post office. It's silly. So we just do U.S. shipping only. If you want to support the channel, it'd be far better for you just to gift members and bless others with memberships. It supports me, and then it blesses other people. Giving $50 to the post office this just seems like such a waste for coffee. It's very expensive for us to ship outside the U.S. So Savage Sharkbite gifted a member and bumps the line to 387. Thank you so much. My wife loves it. Coffee's great. And people like that. Bean water. That's right. I'm in Canada. Oh, do we ship to Canada? I didn't. Oh, maybe we do. I thought we didn't. You can try. I thought we didn't ship outside the U.S. Maybe we do ship to Canada. Maybe that's the only place we ship outside the U.S. Maybe shipping to Canada is not as bad. People in the U.K. were trying to order it, and it was like $60 or $50 just for shipping. So it's like it's a $10 bag of coffee, and then you're spending $50 just to have it shipped. I was like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. That doesn't seem right to charge somebody like that. So I don't know. I didn't like it. It didn't feel right. Canada shipping will be $20 to $30, not $50. That's still pretty expensive for a $10 bag of coffee. You know what I mean? Several devs from Concord are working on Highguard. That certainly won't help build the hype. No, sadly, anybody that touched Concord is a bit of a pariah now. Almost automatically, which is, unfortunate, but it's the reality of a situation like that. When a game flops that bad, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, that's just going to be the nature of things. People are going to remember, Concord's Gunplay movement was fantastic. In the realm of public perception and public opinion, Sven, I don't think anybody is going to have that level of nuance to be like, well, the gunplay and the movement was really good. It just was a game that nobody asked for. Like, they're just going to remember the guy that looked like, a frumpy, gym teacher from high school. They didn't. Character design in that game was pretty rough. Okay, no offense to any gym teachers out there, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody's going to remember. They're like, well, the gunplay was pretty good. They're just going to remember the memes. It was a grand opening, grand closing situation. Literally is Concord 2. I thought you was playing. Well, I don't think that it is literally Concord 2. No. What I think is generally going on is I think there was a sense in which there was untapped live service markets. And one of those untapped live service markets was, well, hero shooters, right? Fortnite's really big, but then there's these other battle royales that kind of came behind it. So like Overwatch is really big. Maybe we can have some hero shooters kind of come behind it. I think that was probably part of the strategy that they were implementing. I don't know, but like to me, it's clear that they made these a 10 bomb from Rissick, this guy on his own. He needs a rival today. Is anybody going to match this man? Jiminy Christmas. We are now 3 away from 400. I get that could have been like what they were thinking. I think the problem is you make that call 4 years ago or so, and then as time goes on, the public sentimentality shifts beneath your feet. You know? MASH, the return of MASH to rival Rissick. That would be legendary if he came back out of nowhere and started trying to rival Rissick. That would be incredible. Angry Pete with 51 months in a VIP bumps the line to 398. Thank you so much, Angry Pete. But when that happens, like, I don't know what these companies are supposed to do. You've invested all this time and money in a game that the public has basically said, like, yeah, we're not interested in this anymore. Nobody wants that. You know? What do you do? Yeah, Rissick is the OG. Rissick is one of the OGs. Yeah, dropping bombs. Him and Eknor and Online MVP and Ghost in the Garage and who else? Pathalon Phoenix. Yeah, we've had some monsters in this community over the years. Overwatch was almost 10 years ago. A hero shooter now is a tired concept. And a single comes in from Angry Pete, and he says, come on, boys, $3.99. We're 1 away. Thank you so much, Angry Pete. Who is going to land the plane? Who is going to take that sniper shot? Thank you, Angry Pete. And there it is. Angry Pete says, I'm going to take the shot. Boom. 400. Thank you so much. I owe you guys another member. I was doing other things. I came back $3.99. The member go, well, okay then. It is very much... is very much needed, Broken. I can't say thank you enough to you guys. We really, really do. We really do. This week and next week, here's the one that I owe you. This week and next week, we really got to shoot for about 1,000, and then we'll be kind of right back where we need to be. We've had a tough year, but we are committed. We are committed to fixing things and improving things, and so I appreciate you guys catching that vision and helping out. And Rissick comes in with the Agents of Chaos and says, we're not going to sit on 400. Are you kidding me? Thank you so much. Will no one rival Rissick? Come on. Somebody rival this man. What is it, 250 bombs already today from him? Jiminy Christmas. Gameplay in Concord was one of the worst FPS games I played in 30 years. Oh, the gameplay. The shooting did feel good, but it was just like, it just felt like a game I had played before. If you guys are just tuning in, thanks so much for being here. Make sure and hit the like button. If you want to talk in my chat, subscribing to my YouTube channel is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Memberships are $6 if you pick Member Plus, but subscribing is free, and then you can talk in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. We've been talking about Expedition 33. We'll shift into some other gaming news here in a little bit, but generally Expedition 33, the reason I was saying, can we just stop this? There's just been a lot of bad takes about the game. There really, really has. And it's been really interesting to see, people get upset about a game doing well. It's very, very bizarre to me. Not going anywhere for Christmas? No, we don't travel for Christmas. No, we stay here for Christmas. It's kind of something I kind of fought for over the years. I want to be here for Christmas because we're, making our own traditions and stuff. So next week, I'll probably be streaming like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, it's that time of year, man. The weather is just fluctuating, and it is wreaking havoc on my my allergies. Louisville, Kentucky is like one of the worst places to live in the world for allergies. I never had allergies as a kid and as an adult, and then I lived here. There's been a lot of Expedition 33 hate. Yeah, I assume all the big gifters are sitting on golden thrones being fed grapes. Either that or Rissick got the kind of money that lets you have 10 kids and drop bombs on YouTube. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. I might go that route. We're traveling this year and did so last year as well. Next year, we'll definitely stay home. Yeah, I really, really like staying home. I really do. So, Alex says, like button. He's just yelling it. The thing also, a trend is you have to release a trendy type of game when the trend was still hot 10 years ago. Releasing a hero shooter now won't make a splash. That hero shooter ship has passed. Yeah, I think anytime you're anytime you are chasing a trend, anytime you're chasing a trend, because there are people that think that that's going to happen with Expedition 33, that people are going to start to implement those sort of mechanics into their games and their turn-based. Yo, 2 more orders of coffee came through. My man Zubair, we know. Oh, Zubair's going for the triple threat. Okay, Mr. Dark Roast. And Bumblepants grabs 3 bags of Frickmas. Just legendary, man. You guys are going nuts today. Thank you very, very much. Let's try to get to 300 likes. I got this air filter that tests the air quality and automatically spins up to clean the air if needed. I think we need one of those. We had, my brother had one in Ohio in their basement, and I swear, like, I felt like I didn't have any issues that week with, like, breathing, sneezing, blowing my nose, none of that. It was like, I don't know. It was nice. Are you going to react to Asmongold's video about Expedition 33? Well, the difficulty with that is that Asmongold's reacting to something else. Like, I don't like necessarily doing, like, a reaction to a reaction. I mean, Alana Pierce is on my homepage. Shut up about Expedition 33. Gee, I wonder what her position is. You know what I mean? She's freaking sick of it. His video is pretty long, is it not? Too? Yeah, it's 38 minutes long. Why they hate Expedition 33. Yeah, I don't want to react to a react. That's a little bit too meta. Harbinger comes in with a single gifted. Thank you so much. It gets us to 402. I appreciate it so much. It happened with Expedition. It happened with Elden Ring. You know, now that you say that, for houses I recommend the HEPA air filter. Okay. I think I can remember that. I can remember that. Will Alana Pierce be biased about Saros next year? Lono, given her boyfriend is the lead actor in the game. I mean, I'm not dating him, but I'm going to be very biased because I love Returnal and he's very handsome. So, I mean, listen. Essentially, especially if you really squint hard, Alana and I are the same. I'm kidding. I don't know. Of course she's going to be a little biased. How could you not be biased? You know what I mean? What's she going to say? Like, yeah, I thought the performance in it was kind of weak. It was a good game, but the lead actor was just, yeah, I don't know. He's kind of mid. His performance fell kind of flat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Raul Coley's great. I like him. He was so good in Midnight Mass. HEP is a standard for filters. It's a high standard, so it works well. Okay. We're not about to see a wave of action turn-based games. If we was, Square would be doing backflips of joy right now. Oh, she wants the complainers to shut up. Oh, I knew for sure that's what she was going to be saying. I just think it's funny that she made a video that literally says, shut up about Expedition 33, and then my video is Expedition 33 Game of the Year win. Stop doing this. Like, stop it. And then my thumbnail says, stop doing this. You know, it's funny that she it's just funny to me. Like, I think some of us have similar sentimentalities about this. I think we're just kind of tired of the whole situation. It's just like something wins and then everybody's got to like make up weird narratives about it. I mean, it's funny that somebody said they did the same thing about Elden Ring. I actually remember people trying to like sort of dog Elden Ring and treat it like it wasn't deserving of Game of the Year or something. I'm just in the place that I'm tired of Expedition 33, like with other games that just go viral. Jack Garland. I only lasted 30 seconds that run. Let me try again. She's like, yeah, I've heard that before. The mechanics in Expedition 33 are great, but it's the story that makes it stand out. But the part that's hard to replicate. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we do see some semblance of, you know, games trying to replicate what Expedition 33 is doing. Like, I don't necessarily think you're going to see like this monsoon of copycats, but I've got some comments here on my short about it. This guy says, the game is good, just really, really overrated, and giving it that many awards for those categories is just crazy. Best RPG, for example, not even close. I sort of agree about RPG, but the game has a 97% on Steam. Feels like the critics got it right. I mean, I feel like the critics got it right. If you got a 97% on Steam, then clearly people really like it. When did one random most mainstream and unartistic award show become so important to people? And B, games become people's entire identity and fanatic belief system. Agree with B big time. Yeah, I agree. I think people make this, I kind of talked about this earlier. It's like they're making it about, it's about something else. It's like it's not about the game. It's like something else is going on. Like the game is a means to an end. It's like a means to an identity for people. Shake Abel Chart says, I haven't played it yet, but it absolutely deserved Game of the Year. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong. It was the clear front runner, you know, even if you didn't play it. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3 for more than, a couple of hours with you guys, goofing around with Madam, and I knew Baldur's Gate 3 was the front runner. Like, it's obvious when you've got a game that just is like sort of taking the world by storm. I cared until the award is announced, and then I'm over it. Maybe I'm in the minority on that. It doesn't matter who wins what. People are going to play what they enjoy. Well, here's the thing that I think we might be missing in the conversation, and that's that part of the Game Awards and part of the nominations and the win and everything else is the debates afterward. That's like part of the enjoyment. Does that make sense? Like, I get that you could be like, oh, I don't really care. I'm just kind of shrug-shouldered after everything's over. But I'm like, yeah, but part of the fun is kind of debating afterward. Like, I really enjoyed debating about how, like, I really thought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 should have won RPG. And I enjoyed Expedition 33 a ton and rolled credits on it. And I couldn't get into gear with... I could not get into gear with Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's a game that's not really built for me, and that's totally fine. That doesn't take away from its quality. It certainly doesn't. Like, I felt similarly about Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I couldn't vibe with it, but that doesn't take away from the game's quality. Fighting game of the year. If I don't play it, but I can clearly see that the audience and the public and the critics love it, I can certainly say, well, that's clearly the front runner for game of the year, right? Like, even if I've not played that fighting game, like, I think you can clearly see what games are, pulling away from the pack, as it were. I really don't care to have the conversation if I don't care about the winner. Apathy is what I feel. I mean, I don't expect people to care about every single thing in gaming or Game Awards or whoever wins. I do think it's interesting that, I don't know if you're doing this, dudeness or duderino. I don't know if you're doing this, but the people that show up to threads and comment sections and YouTube videos just to make sure everybody knows they don't care. Are you sure you don't care? Like, it's like... You might just be here today because you listen to the show every day, Duderino. But there are people that'll do that. They're hopping on every Twitter thread, and they're getting into the comment sections of videos, and they're like, I'm just here to make sure everybody knows I don't care. I'm like, I don't know if you don't care, though. Please care about how much I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like, methinks you doth protest too much. It's like, what you really want to make sure... Yeah, I know, you're here every day, Duderino, so I don't think that you're doing that. You're not like, hey, I just want to make sure everybody knows that I don't care. It's like that meme in Airplane where he's like, I just want to make sure you know that we're all counting on you. And he keeps coming back and saying it. It's like these guys just constantly do that. They're like, I just want to make sure everybody knows I don't care about this. This doesn't matter. Okay. Thanks for telling us, man. Trust me, I'm not in the forums after here. I got to work and support my kids. No, yeah, I know. It just, when you said it, because you said it so strongly, you're like, all I feel is apathy. It's just a little extreme, you know? It's like, oh, okay. If apathy's all you feel, then I don't know why you took the time to type. You know, I'm obviously taking a bit of a dig at you. Jack Garl with a $5 super chat. Hey, I want you to know this. I'm ignoring you. Thank you so much, Jack. I appreciate it. Guys, make sure you're going through the ritual. Hit the like button. Check your membership renewals. Make sure you're at Member Plus. The like button's the most important, though. Hit that. Everybody needs to hit that when you're here. If you're lurking, you can always take a quick second to spam the chat. I just like to ruffle some feathers. Oh, I know. You are a habitual feather ruffler. You know what I mean? He's a habitual line crosser. You're a habitual feather ruffler. I know Expedition 33 was great, but Kirby, how about Kirby? That's right. He made a great game and should be up there. That's right. Yeah, somebody should have definitely gone up during the middle of the Expedition 33 award, like being thanked. Like, I'm going to let you finish in a minute, but Kirby Air Riders was the best game of all time. Have our own like Kirby Kanye moment. I mean, they both start with K, so it works. Expedition 33 is a game for gamers. Who would know Japan's RPGs like devs were mentioned on stage. I will say I am unreasonably upset about Mafia: The Old Country not getting a narrative nomination. So maybe I'm not over it. Yeah, that one's in the backlog. I'd like to go back and finish that one. I actually was enjoying the characters and the writing. I actually thought, wow, this is quite good. You know, it was the pacing was a little funky, I thought. I was a little critical of the pacing. You know, but overall, I thought that the dialogue and the writing and the tone was very good. Jimmy Mack left a comment on my short about Expedition 33. He says, I agreed it should have won Game of the Year. I also think it should have been nominated for every category that it was. Ironically, Expedition 33 didn't win Fan Choice Award. So, while a loud niche area of game community have these debates, most people are playing other things. Well, when a gacha game wins Player's Voice, I don't take it that seriously. Like, come on, boys. Some massively popular, you know, gacha game that has a massive audience wins the Player's Voice Award. I don't know. I'm so amazed that it beat a game with 5 million in sales. I had a problem with the pacing of Mafia: The Old Country also. Yeah, it was just very odd in the beginning. It was really overstaying its welcome in what felt like a tutorial. And I was like, people are saying this game's 8 or 10 hours long, and I was like 2 hours in, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm out of the tutorial yet. You know, it felt a little strange. It felt quality. I liked it. Check my question if it's not too much trouble. Sure. You said, this is an interesting question, Lono. When does a game for you transit from being a game to something larger? Holy frick. What are you... So, okay. I'm going to try and interpret this. Feel free to rewrite your question while I do this, because that was a little rough. You made me go reread a question with, like, broken grammar. That's okay. Maybe English isn't your first language, so I'm going to make an attempt here. I think what you're trying to ask me is, when does a game become something more than just a game for you? Like, it's like something that you either go back to, or like it's a special memory. I think it's what you're asking. I don't know if there's like a definitive moment where I can say, oh yeah, this is when it transitions into something more. But I think Yanadid is sort of going where I was going to go. Yanadid says when it relates to you on an emotional level. I think when something hits me emotionally or like psychologically or spiritually, I'm always going to remember that game. I will never forget the first time I played Hellblade 1. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the time that a haiku in Ghost of Tsushima made me cry. Like, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the moment in Expedition 33. There was the eulogy, and then there was a moment at the end where she's talking about how much she's lost. And it just absolutely destroyed me. Because I know what it is to lose everything. I know what it is to lose so much that you're almost overcome with either the grief or the quest for vengeance, right? I know what it is to go through that, and so those moments will always stick with me. I think that's probably the answer. When the game hits you in a more personal way, like Returnal definitely did that for me. Like when I finally beat the biome where the music is playing, and she says, "Don't fear the Reaper." And we get a kind of a glimpse into what happened with her. And then that time with Viewfinder. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was playing Viewfinder with Madam, and it was honestly one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in a game. I was trying to line up some picture, and when I finally lined it up, the picture was beautiful. It was like, oh, not only that, it was the way out. It was the way out of the puzzle. In that moment, it was the most bizarre thing. I fell to pieces. I couldn't even talk. I was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. So, yeah, I think when something hits you at an emotional or personal level, you'll probably... Yeah, when I beat Sekiro, yes. Yeah, when I beat Ishin, it was the day or the week that we rebranded to Reforge Gaming. And the mental fortitude that it took to not quit and beat him after 5 hours, it was just such an analogy to everything I was working through and fighting through to stay alive in this environment and to not quit. Yeah, beating Ishin was I wasn't just beating a game. I was beating like a demon. You know what I mean? It was more than that. So. Yeah, that's how I'd answer that question. The Crazy Kid commented on my short here about Expedition 33 and says, I haven't played it yet, but I've heard enough discussion to know that it deserved it. It's just loud people that are either mad their game didn't win or the people that start downplaying stuff the moment they get popular. However, I believe that games should have limits of numbers of awards so other games have a chance. The problem with limiting... number of awards is the composer deserves it but doesn't get it because the rest of the game is also getting awards ? That's the problem with that position. Like, if the composer deserves it and he killed it and he should be recognized for what he did with an original score, you can't deny him a nomination because, oh, well, they also got nominated for performance and RPG and action and this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, wait a minute. He doesn't get a nomination or he doesn't get a chance to win because the game also was good in other categories? That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't just limit a game's ability to win. What the guy did for the original score as a composer is completely different than the work that went into the performances or the direction or the narrative or, the art direction. These are completely different categories, different skill sets, and I honestly think we're recognizing different things when we celebrate one and the other. A $5 super chat with Noberto. Bro, chill. I'm at work getting all emotional. Glad to be part of your journey with this amazing community for all these years. I appreciate it, Noberto. I really, really do. I put out the call this morning and basically said, listen, we gotta bring everybody home to YouTube and we gotta put this membership, back on track. And you guys are answering the call today. And this doesn't work without y'all. It just doesn't. It's not possible. You can't be sitting in front of a live audience for 6 hours a day without folks directly supporting the way that y'all do. Do they have limits for the Oscars? I don't think so. Kaiser Sose. Imagine that you wrote the soundtrack for Expedition 33, and everybody's talking about how it is clearly one of the best, if not the best soundtrack of the year. But they say, unfortunately, we couldn't nominate you or give you the award because your game's already been nominated too many times. And at that point, how do you determine who does or doesn't get it? Let's say the nominations come through and they're like, well, Expedition 33 has been nominated in 9 different categories. Which categories do you bump them from? Which? How do you even... we didn't blip or anything, did we? My freaking lights flickered because my battery backup cycle every so many days, and it always makes my lights flicker, and it freaks me out. I'm like, are we having a power fluctuation? What's going on? So... You know what I'm saying? How would you even determine, they're in 9 categories. What categories do you bump them out of? I just rewatched the Sekiro vid. You can't beat what's been reforged. That's right. You can't kill what's been reborn. That's what I should have said. You can't kill me. You know? There's a lot to that, and we don't need to get into it right now. But yeah, you can't kill what's been reborn. Not truly. If you do that, every award starts to have an asterisk next to it because you have to take that into account of who is excluded. That's right. Like, oh yeah, this one soundtrack, but did it really? Because you basically removed one game from the category because they won too many awards. So you're like, well, did I win best soundtrack, or did you just remove the biggest competition? Because unfortunately for you, you wrote the best soundtrack for a game that won a ton of other awards. There's no way to do it. You can't limit what a game can win. There's no rhyme or reason or logic to that. I don't think there's a way to implement that. I totally get the intention, and I can appreciate the intention to be like, well, we want other games to have a shot, and we want other games to have a chance to be, recognized. And I'm like, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I really and truly do. But you've got to see that is not how we give out awards. We don't give out awards as an opportunity for a game to be, noticed. We give out awards according to who voted for what's best. Awards are not a means to free promotion. That's a secondary benefit. If you win the award, even if you get nominated and you're listed with all those other great games, like a secondary benefit is free advertising, and everybody's like, oh, what is that game? What is Blueprints? What is Hades 2? What is whatever? Right? You get people to notice your game that might have never heard of it. Like, obviously, Silksong and Hades 2 have probably been heard of by a lot of people, but maybe people forgot about them or hadn't really considered them, or were sort of thinking, yeah, maybe that's not for me. But then you see it nominated and you're like, well, I definitely need to check that out. Right? It's a secondary benefit. The primary reason something's nominated and wins isn't so that it gets noticed. It's so that it's recognized for what it did. And you don't take that away from somebody just because, unfortunately, you worked on the best game this year, so it landed in too many categories. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I didn't get a nomination. I didn't get an award. Do they have honorable mentions? No. I mean, I did honorable mentions when I did my top 10. I did my top 10, and then in my live stream, I did my top 10 honorable mentions. So, I mean, there's 20 games this year that I think were well worth mentioning. Haseo says, what these people are trying to turn it into is against the spirit of the event, in my mind. I agree with you. Yeah, the spirit of the event is to nominate and award people and games that you think deserve it, not promoting smaller games. You see what I'm saying? Like, the point of the event is not to promote smaller games. That's a secondary benefit of being nominated. The Altars got overlooked. A super creative game with really good performance in it, but yeah, it's a tough year. It's a tough year, dude. You see how many times Expedition 33 won the PlayStation Awards? I did not. Just thinking that might be a way to get that advertisement out there and maybe avoid some of this in the future. I could see Jeff putting together an honorable mentions video and say, hey, it's just so competitive every year. We wanted to point out the games that almost got nominated. We just really think these are games that you might have missed. And you just put out that video as just a kind gesture to say that, like, hey, maybe in, this particular category, you feel like something should have been nominated and it didn't, or whatever. All of the games that are in like 7th and 8th place. So the votes come in and like, oh, you were in 7th or 8th place. You didn't get a nomination. A video like that could be pretty cool. These are the games that almost made it, which means you definitely want these games to be on your radar. That could be cool. I don't think the event needs to be about that. I added my comment to your short, says SDO. A great game, but shouldn't have broke records in my opinion. Too much emotional voting rather than a logical quality assessment. So here's where I'm going to disagree with you, SDO. Voting and reviewing something is more than logical quality assessment. And this is why I said it was going to win. Do you guys remember what I said? What word did I use? Do you remember the word that I used earlier this year when I said nothing's going to be able to beat Expedition 33? It's not just liked. It's something else. There was a specific word that I used. I used it over and over again because I was like, this game has ascended above the category of like, oh, I really like that game, or, you know, I really enjoyed it. It's excellent. I said that the game is not just liked. Because if you're just oh yeah, I really like that game. That was a great game. Yeah. And what we just talked about. Adored, close. Because somebody just asked me a little bit ago, like, when does a game become more than a game to you? And what did we say? We said, oh, when it hits me emotionally. That's when I remember it. Media darling? No. I said that it was beloved. I said this many times this year. I said Expedition 33 is going to win Game of the Year. It's not just a game that people like. It's beloved. Omar, it looks like Omar and Brian remembered because of stream delay. I think you guys remembered. I was like, it's beloved. When you're in that category, nobody's beating you. Nobody is going to vote for something else. When it comes time for Game of the Year, if they love, and they love Expedition 33, and you're like, but they're voting with their emotions. You better believe they're voting with their emotions. What was your favorite game this year? Well, according to my logical assessment and the way I measure everything with zeros and ones, no one's doing that. No one is going to do that. They are going to vote from a place of emotion. And Expedition 33 really impacted people. It really did. It was memorable. It dealt with grief. It crawled deep down in people's souls and like made a little home for a couple of weeks. How can you logically mention entertainment outside of things like sales or revenue? Yeah, I'm not even sure what logical quality assessment would be. I mean, you could talk about like graphics, performance, bugs, game systems, gameplay. I think that's really difficult because even that's subjective. Was the gameplay good? Well, I'm going to give it a logical assessment only here. Well, then you would only be breaking down whether it was well functioning. Did it work well or did it break? Did it bug out? Did it glitch? Did the systems have like a logical harmony to them, or was there like a dissonance within the mechanics and the things that you can do? Does that make sense? Like, I don't think there's a way to do that with games. Like some kind of cold calculation where you're measuring a game purely in that way. I don't think there's really a way to do that. SDO is pushing back here maybe a little bit. He says, I didn't really get the attachment to Expedition 33, to be honest. I adored and beloved Baldur's Gate 3. I completed Expedition 33, but I didn't think, OMG, this is a game-changing moment. I remember Dez panicking over Baldur's Gate 3. So I think developers were panicking over Baldur's Gate 3 because of the level of depth and work and value and freedom was unparalleled. So when you have a game like that, if that becomes the expectation in the user base of games, like gamers, that can be really, really difficult to contend with. If people are like, well, when I play an RPG now, I expect that level of freedom. Oh, all right. Do you see the difference? Like Expedition 33 as a story, it just hit people. There was more to it than just, oh yeah, it's just a cool narrative with cool characters. I mean, whenever you have a story that's about grief, it also really depends on where you are in your life. Like, there were elements to the story that resonated with me personally. And if that doesn't resonate with you, you know what I mean? Expedition 33 had me sitting in my seat, just sitting there looking into the distance and slowly blinking, dealing with all the feels. No shade, but Deep Rock Galactic Survivor didn't make me do that. Right. Exactly. I think that's one of the reasons I was critical of Kojima's storytelling in Death Stranding 2, because I feel like he stepped all over the big moments. He either made them blatantly obvious, the twists and turns I could see coming from a mile away, or what was worse is he showed really cool moments ahead of time. I feel like he stepped all over his own game. You know, I feel like he stepped all over his own game, and it was just unfortunate because it was like it could have had a lot more potency and a lot more surprises and a lot more twists and turns than it did. I personally don't like it when that thought process goes beyond the Game of the Year section and into the other categories. I don't like it when that thought process goes beyond Game of the Year. What? I'm not sure what thought process you're talking about, Romeo. Some other comments on my short. Spectre says, did anyone have a problem with the Titanic winning 11 Oscars? Why is it a problem as a video game? Exactly. I mean, I think this happens in a lot of mediums. You have the thing that just runs away with it. You have the thing that stands taller than everybody. It just happens. It's probably more common than you think. Oh, is this what you were asking about? PlayStation Game of the Year winners. I haven't seen this yet. Best new character. I wonder why PlayStation chose this one. They chose Atsu. And then honorable mentions: Hornet, Mael, and Hinako. Listen to me, y'all. Mael is leagues better than Atsu. I'm just going to say it. And I love Yote. I really did. Yote's my favorite game this year. But if you want to talk about best new character, it ain't Atsu, okay? Best story, Expedition 33. Obviously, we're going to get the Yote, the Death Stranding, and the Silent Hill. Sure. Best graphical showcase, Yote over Death Stranding 2. I actually could see you arguing that. Yote felt like a living painting. They did a really, really great job with the art style. It's a very, very pretty game. One of the prettiest games I've probably ever played. Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders are up there as well. Best art direction, Yote over Expedition 33. I don't agree with this. Silksong and Silent Hill definitely should be here, but I think Expedition 33 had better art direction. Yote was beautiful, but yeah, I don't agree with that. Best audio design, again, I don't get why Yote keeps they did really cool stuff with the audio for sure, but like Arc Raiders or Battlefield should be up here. I mean, Battlefield's down here, and Death Stranding's over here, and Silksong's here. But like audio design, I don't remember the audio design really standing out in Yote. Soundtrack, yes, they got this one right. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. My opinion is implied here, but best soundtrack, yeah, Expedition 33, and then Yote, Death Stranding, and Silksong. Accessibility features, these are fine. Best use of DualSense. These are fine. It's a controller. Best release or remaster, they're going to give it to Oblivion, undeniable. And then these ones here, the Days Gone, the Tomb Raider, and this. What is this? Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, I didn't recognize the picture. I was like, huh? I don't even know if Days Gone deserves to be in the list, to be quite honest with you. Best multiplayer experience. I cannot believe they put Battlefield over Arc Raiders, but okay. And it's good to see Marvel Rivals as well as Split Fiction up there. Best ongoing game, Genshin. Well, they know their audience. Rivals, Fortnite, Honkai Star Rail. Best expansion. This is why I would like to see the Game Awards include Best Expansion. I actually would. I would like to see them include this. I think it'd be good. But Lies of P Overture, Helldivers 2, Heart of Democracy, Claws of Awaji and AC Shadows, and then The Order of Giants and Indiana Jones. So Xbox has got 2 wins in PlayStation's awards this year. It's player voted. This is player voted. Well, there you go. That makes sense why the PlayStation bias is apparent in some of these. Best sports game goes to Sonic Racing. And there's Forza. There's another award for Xbox and the PlayStation awards here. EA Sports Football Club and Rematch. Best independent game. Obviously, we know this is going to Expedition 33. And then Silksong, Dispatch, and Ready or Not. Best VR game goes to Alien Rogue. I've heard good things about Alien Rogue Incursion. Hitman. I really like the Midnight Walk. I did not play it by way of VR, though. And then we have Zombie Army. Best PS4 game? Say what? Anyway, Silk Song, Night Rain, Sonic Racing, and then Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Call of Duty Black Ops 7, what the... All right. Best PS5 game, GOTY, Expedition, Death Stranding 2, Arc Raiders. Studio of the Year, Kojima gets Studio of the Year over Sandfall, Sucker Punch, and Team Cherry. Most anticipated game, not surprising, the PlayStation fan base voted for Wolverine, and then Resident Evil, and then James Bond, and then Lego Batman. That's a fun list. That was fun. I didn't know it was fan voted either. That's cool. Okay. I don't care how many times a game is nominated as long as it belongs to the category it's cited for. The problem with the Game Awards, the more times that there's not a definition of a category, is stretched just to accommodate the hype of a game. Also, politics should not have a say in the awards. They didn't. And still we see time and time again deserving games completely shunned just to steer clear of potential controversy. What game was shunned to avoid controversy? And what category was stretched to accommodate a game? I don't know what they're talking about. Like, what in the world? What game was not nominated to avoid some kind of a controversy? Was there even a game this year that you could say was like really good and really quality, and they didn't nominate it because they were worried about controversy? I'm not quite sure I understand. PlayStation bias, but then again, the entire awards are voted by users. People are just not happy no matter the result, critics or fan voted. Well, if it's fan voted on the PlayStation one, I didn't know that. In general, I felt like there was a PlayStation lean in the results. It makes sense if you go to the PlayStation audience and ask them to vote. They're clearly going to lean toward PlayStation exclusives and first party. Like, that's totally going to be a thing, which we could probably use this as a bit of a segue. So we've gone the distance here with the subject of Expedition 33 and the Game Awards. We're about 2 hours in. We can use this last hour to kind of talk about other things, all right? You guys can bring articles and videos to the table. This is a great time to ask me to react to stuff. And I've got something for you. I've got a couple of things for you, actually. So the first thing I have for you is in relation to PlayStation and first party, and something that many people... Funny enough, the guys that have a very strong bent against Sony, they thought that this was a, Nintendo-esque litigious, let's sue somebody and try to eliminate competition. I think anybody who looked at this objectively saw problems with the Light of Motirum game, given that Tencent approached Sony twice asking to make a Horizon game. They were told no, and then they made the game anyway. I thought that paper trail was going to be absolutely damning in the court case, and seemingly it was. Sony's legal battle against Tencent's Horizon clone is already over. Sony and Tencent have reached a confidential settlement, and Light of Motirum is no longer listed on Steam or the Epic Games Store. So they're either being forced to completely go back to the drawing board and, maybe not rename it, but they might have to actually completely change the look and feel of the game. So let's kind of look and read here what has been stated. In July, Sony sued Tencent to prevent the release of Light of Motirum, a game Sony alleged was a slavish clone of its popular Horizon series. But the legal battle is already over. The two companies have reached a confidential settlement, and the case has been dismissed with prejudice, according to a court document filed on Wednesday. Light of Motirum is also no longer listed on Steam and the Epic Games Store, despite the game's website showing links to listings on both stores as of this writing. A user on the game's official subreddit also noticed the removal, pointing to a Steam database link that says this app has been retired and is no longer available on the Steam store. Light of Motirum was announced last year, and the aesthetics of its reveal trailer show a striking resemblance to Horizon series, featuring lush landscapes, futuristic technology, and monstrous animal-like robots. In its lawsuit, Sony also alleged that Tencent used its ripoff of Horizon protagonist Aloy as the centerpiece of the marketing and promotional strategy. I actually thought it was a pretty big self-admission when they started changing all the artwork and all the images started disappearing. Justin with the 5-bomb, thank you so much for adding to the total, getting us to 407 on the week. It was pretty clear they knew, oh, whoops, yeah, we totally have stuff that's like blatantly obvious that is based off of their work, especially once we got deeper into the weeds on it and realized they tried to literally make a Horizon game. Here's the quote: Tencent's unlawful copying of the protected audiovisual elements of the Horizon games, as well as its deliberate adoption of a confusingly similar character mark, continues both copyright and trademark infringement that should be enjoined immediately to prevent irreparable harm to Sony Interactive Entertainment and the consuming public. SIE and Tencent are pleased to have reached a confidential resolution and will have no further public comment on this matter, Sean Durkin, head of communications for Tencent Americas, tells The Verge. SIE and Tencent look forward to working together in the future. Sony did not immediately reply to a request for comment. So here's the actual document. And again, the real thing here that I think people need to realize is this went in Sony's favor because there was a clear paper trail that was just absolutely the end of the conversation. I mean, it was the end of the conversation. It was like, you guys pitched a game to us twice, and we said no twice, and then you went ahead and made it anyway. That's a pretty damning indictment to have come to light. Like, when that came to light, it was like, yeah, I don't really think you can defend this, because if I went to you and said, hey, I want to make a Halo game, and you said no, and I came back again and said, I want to make a Halo game, and I made it anyway, and anybody with a dadgum brain was like, yeah, that's definitely a Halo game. And here's one of the things from the court documents showing the Horizon franchise and the almost one-to-one for stance, build, color, aesthetic. I mean, these literally look like, this is clearly getting into like art direction and philosophy of like what a game looks like and how you would distinguish it within the market. So it's not surprising at all that this went in PlayStation's favor. Anybody on the other side of this, I think, was either being very, very slanted in their view of it, or they just weren't looking at this with eyes wide open. It was pretty clear to me where this was headed. So I think it's good to see. I actually think it's good if a company's going to do something like that. I think it should be stopped. I don't celebrate what Nintendo's doing. I don't think you should be able to like shut down competition and start doing trademarks. But if you approach a company and request to license their IP for a game twice and get told no twice, and then you make the game anyway, I think there should be repercussions for that. I think it's that simple. I don't think there's really another way to see it. What do you think about the game coming out called Varsapura? It's a Hoyo Nexus. It's Hoyo versus Next Baby. I'm not a big gacha player, but the horror aspect seems like a cool concept. I mean, anything that comes from them is probably going to get a bit of a raised eyebrow from me. Varsapura, I don't think I've seen this. 31 minutes of gameplay, official gameplay 3 weeks ago. Let's take a look here. So we got a Hoyoverse game. The minute this is the aesthetic, I'm gonna really struggle to get engaged. This just signals things to me that I'm not gonna vibe with. The waifu thing, the anime thing. It just doesn't grab me. I don't like it. I'm not going to necessarily be critical of it. I'm not a huge fan of, I can't see her, but a lot of the times these games go in a direction where like the lead character isn't just a girl, but she's made to look like she's not even an adult. And I've always found that to be very off-putting. I'm not going to like kink shame or tell people what they can or can't do, but that's never been a thing that I've been able to kind of get into. I don't know if we go back far enough. Will we get a look at the character, the lead character? I think the environments look really cool. This looks like a living cartoon. I think the environments are really cool. Like the reflections and the shadows really give this, I think, a lot of character. Yeah. See, I just can't. I can't do that. It's my own personal preference, but that doesn't look like an adult. That looks like a child's face, and I can't do it. It's an immediate turnoff for me. Sorry. That's just my own personal thing. with games like that and that art style. Don't worry, Al King, shame for you. yeah. I'm not going to get into it. There's a whole lot of commentary there that there's plenty to be said, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to say, not for me, no, thank you. So, girl couldn't sneak into a Pixar movie. I don't know. How they thought they could get away with it is an insult to Sony's intelligence and ours. Yeah, the way they made the game, at first I was like, I don't know if Sony can win this, because I thought Tencent was going to come back and say there's too many distinct differences between the gameplay and the gameplay loop, because I think it was Reforge Gaming that broke it down that made me think, yeah, they might be able to pull this off. If they can distance this enough from Horizon, they'll be able to make a pretty compelling argument that, like, our game is nothing like yours, therefore there won't be any brand confusion, okay? Which I think they might have fired back and said, we're currently working on a game that's going to look exactly like this. Like, you're still borrowing far too much from our art style and our art direction, which I think would have been fair pushback. But as soon as we found out that they had pitched the game twice and were told no twice, that to me changed the entire discussion. It was like, no, this thing's never going to see the light of day unless they dramatically change everything about it. Like, they're going to have to, which they conceivably could, go back to the drawing board and start all the way over and completely restructure, the way the game looks and feels. So, yeah. We got another one here that I think is well worth interacting with. So this has obviously been a developing story for a very, very long time about Starfield coming to other platforms. And Windows Central says that Starfield will come to Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Now keep in mind, this headline can make you think just Nintendo? No, actually both. So down here is where they quote the article. Starfield will not only be getting its PlayStation 5 version in 2026, but also a Nintendo Switch 2 version on top. The game has already undergone some optimizations for low power devices like handheld, so hopefully it'll be a good experience on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. And so let's just go to the Windows Central article. So this is from Jez Corden 13 hours ago. So Xbox's next Starfield DLC was shown off behind closed doors recently, detailing big upgrades to space travel, a PS5 version, and more. Is it Sunday yet? Anyways, next year Starfield is going to get a big upgrade. What exactly will be in this update? Here is what we know so far. Starfield was one of the most hyped up games of its time, but for many, it didn't live up to expectations. Starfield was the first new IP from the legendary team behind Elder Scrolls Skyrim and Fallout 3 and 4, led by Bethesda's Todd Howard. Starfield promised to bring the company's signature sandbox RPG gameplay to the vastness of the entire galaxy. It was also the first core Bethesda game published by Xbox since Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax. Bethesda games have been notorious for their breadth, but for many, Starfield might have bitten off a lot more than it could chew. The game's engine didn't really gel well with the space travel systems Bethesda envisioned for the game. The abundance of loading screens between planetary hops marred the experience. Many felt that the vastness of the play space made finding high-quality, handcrafted content a little sparse to find. More than that, I think I remember watching, Maddie and others talk about it. There just was not a whole lot of exploratory purpose, even if you did find, bespoke environments. Just the general vibe, I should say, of exploration just really didn't work. It just didn't feel like a Bethesda game to Bethesda fans. I'm not speaking for all Bethesda fans, I'm saying, but there were some that said this. The game's first DLC, Shattered Space, also didn't live up to expectations for many either. We were hoping for an overhaul of some of the game's key systems and features to coincide with extra story content. As such, Bethesda fans have been waiting with bated breath to hear from Bethesda on what a future might hold for Starfield. Now, one of the reasons we haven't really done much with covering Starfield is, as a content creator, sometimes you make decisions based off of search volume and relevancy. Like, hey, we're going to cover something if people are interested in that something, right? Like if there's a very, very small story about some obscure indie game or mobile game, we're probably not going to run that, right? Because you guys are going to be like, what are you talking about? Or you're going to say, nobody's even searching for that, right? So as a content creator, you'll notice that, bigger YouTube channels, gaming news channels generally cover the bigger stories. One of the reasons we haven't done much with Starfield is interest and search volume and relevancy is at an all-time low. no one really cares. And I think that until you can put some proof in the pudding with like a substantive trailer and details and an announcement, the gaming public is just sort of over it. They don't really care. And I think the DLC was probably a pretty significant killing blow to that interest and to that relevancy. I'm not saying it can't bounce back and have its 2.0 moment. I've argued for a couple of years that if they're going to bring this to the PlayStation, that's something that they need to consider. Can you give it its Cyberpunk 2.0 moment, right? Is it possible? So I think that it is, and that's what it's going to take for this game to flourish and to do well on a platform after it was so poorly received by the public. So more from the article here. Last March, Bethesda began testing the future of Starfield before essentially going radio silent. The team behind Starfield did ship some updates to the game throughout the year, but it was hardly in line with the previous teases on X. Yeah, they were talking about like really, really going crazy like every month, every quarter with big updates for Starfield, and it did kind of go quiet. Last September, Tim Lamb of Bethesda continued the Starfield teases, saying, "I can't go into all the details just yet, but I will say part of the team has been more focused on space gameplay to make the travels there more rewarding. We're also adding some new game systems and a few other smaller delights." It seems that we shouldn't have to wait much longer to find out. I saw a post from Luke Stevens on X that crystallized rumors I have been hearing that Bethesda recently held an event behind closed doors to showcase some of the plans for Starfield. I've spoken to a few people with first and secondhand knowledge to try to catch a glimpse as to what we can expect. As rumored, it seems that Starfield will break free of its loading screen heavy spaceflight systems. Spaceflight will now feel more free roam and continuous if the rumors are accurate, and various other systems pertaining to space travel and exploration will be improved as well. Creation Engine has reportedly undergone some large technical improvements to facilitate some of these types of systems that will also carry forward the future games. Now, the code-altering update that we heard rumors about so long ago may have actually been true. I mean, it may have actually been related to this. For those wondering if Bethesda was going to join Oblivion Remake and make the switch to Unreal, it seems that Creation Engine upgrades will remain the focus, at least for Starfield. Also, Starfield will not only be getting a PlayStation 5 version in 2026, but also the Switch 2. We already read that quote in the other article. Some of my sources have suggested the expansion for Starfield was previously planned for 2025, but Microsoft's busy holiday period, coupled with the delay of Grand Theft Auto 6, made them feel more comfortable to drop it in the first half of 2026 instead. Although, others such as Detective C's on X have reported that the updates will come later in 2026. So we've got conflicting reports. Indeed, I've heard some conflicting opinions. What the heck is going on? Okay. Wow, my capture card freaked out. Indeed, I've heard conflicting opinions on some of these Starfield rumors. Whoops. So it's worth taking them with a pinch of salt. One conflict pertains to the scale of the upgrade. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Oh, where were we? Oh, annoying. Here we go. Some of my sources have sought to downplay how much of an overhaul it could be, shying away from claims that it will be a Cyberpunk 2.0 moment for the game. Others who attended the event, reportedly led by Todd Howard himself, were far more upbeat about the content being offered. It seems that the Starfield expansion possibly teased Terran Armada might continue to divide opinions. Let's talk about the 2.0 moment. Can we please have some less ads here? I really enjoyed Starfield, and why it didn't have staying power for Skyrim or Fallout 3 or 4 for me, it was more than a capable sandbox RPG that had plenty of grand moments to discover among its vast stars. It never needed a Cyberpunk 2.0 moment. Now, I don't agree with this at all. Jez is free to think this. I don't see this the same way. I think it wasn't like this bug-riddled trash mess that Cyberpunk was. But boy, oh boy, when you played Phantom Liberty, it was like, yeah, Cyberpunk is this is the level of upgrade that Starfield needs. It needs to be at this level of quality. It really does. And obviously that's just my opinion, but that's how I concluded that it needed a Cyberpunk 2.0 moment. I played Phantom Liberty. There are lots of things that could elevate Starfield with more time and investment. In a lot of ways, Starfield feels like it has vast moments of untapped potential. Its lore and world building has solid foundations, and the scale of the game's ambition is undeniable. On a scale more typical of MMORPGs or multiplayer games, I think the lack of density is what primarily hurt the game, and the sense that the points of interest were too few in number and variation. Fighting through large mercenary camps also to find nothing useful gets tiring after a while. I can appreciate human facilities being prefabricated 3D printing sci-fi style, but it's a little jarring when entire natural cave systems feel identical despite being at opposite ends of the galaxy. I'm still investigating the finer details of what the future holds for Starfield, and will be sure to share once I find out more. Tim Lamb teased a variety of gameplay systems and smaller delights to go along with Starfield's next big update, which unfortunately missed its 2025 window. Hopefully, what means improvements to the variety on offer in general exploration, and maybe enhancements to itemization and things like that. As soon as I learn more, I will let you know. I'm told that Bethesda is quite stretched, attempting to capitalize on the massive success of the Fallout TV show across multiple existing and future projects, while also building Elder Scrolls 6, leaving less room for Starfield. If true, when DLC 2 emerges for Starfield, hopefully it'll be a good send-off for what ended up being one of this generation's most polarizing games. It certainly was polarizing. It was not the game of a generation that people were calling it. You know, it was the most talked about game, and ended up being talked about even more because it, in general, just fell so far below people's expectations and people's hopes for where it was going to land qualitatively. So I think it does need a 2.0 moment. And if this is the 2.0 moment, maybe it gets better reception on PlayStation than I was imagining it would get. There's a very, very big Bethesda audience on PlayStation, but you're really going to have a lot to prove to them if you want them to jump into this game when it finally comes over. Next update better be crazy. Been radio silence from Bethesda all year. Mods are fun, but the Bethesda uses it as a crutch to let people fix their game. Well, I think there was a time where that might be considered like charming. You know, like, yeah, that it's charming and funny and they're glitchy and then they get mods. Ha ha ha. Like, I don't know. I do not think that that really works anymore. I think people are just kind of over it. You know, they want the game to come out, and they want the game to be worth playing. So, if you guys haven't done so already, hit that like button. Try to get us to 300 likes. We're currently working on a very big goal for the week. This gets to 500. We do a Friday night stream. We go to stretch goal. I have to sing. We go to stretch beyond that. I got to dress like Santa Claus. We're trying to have a Frickmas Friday. And we did do a little housekeeping this morning in Morning Coffee. We will no longer be multi-streaming on Purple. It was actually hurting us. We're trying to kind of bring the support back home to YouTube, and we're also trying to get that member count to get right back where we need it to be. So if you've ever considered supporting my channel in the past, now is a pivotal moment for us to see that kind of turn around. So if you've never done that before, try it out for a month. Click join, pick Member Plus, and get into our Discord and get plugged into all the extra content. The game has to have a good foundation for people to want to keep modding it. Yeah, a lot of the modders, didn't they like stop modding? I don't know. The thing the game needs is more about the game flow. If they add free flow travel, it improves the immersion. The world building is fantastic. Mods build upon the experience. Not to mention it completely screws over console players unless the decision is to implement a mod menu. Bethesda games should already be good without the mods, but it isn't. I tend to agree with you that I don't think you should be able to like lean back on mods that much. So checking the news feeds here, see if there's anything to react to. If you guys have seen anything, it's not that we're done with Twitch, Phil. It's that we had a really, really rough year on YouTube, and I don't like making a bunch of content about it. I don't like getting bogged down into this, but you know, we've been going for 2.5 hours now, so I'm happy to answer any of your questions about this. YouTube made a bunch of changes this year that harmed us in a particular way. A lot of YouTubers have not been affected by this, But because we are both safe for work and because we do a lot of members content, we kind of got hit with a double whammy. They started putting members content in front of people that couldn't watch it, and so it really hurt our growth. We would get people to sub, and they'd come in for an event or something, and they'd like the vibe, and they would sub to the channel, but then they would start seeing members content that they couldn't watch, and they would unsub. So our growth came to a screeching halt. Every year leading up to this year, we had very consistent growth, and this year it just stopped. We just kind of flatlined. It started literally in January. As soon as we rolled over into January, it got really bad. The other thing they have done is they've implemented AI into the platform, and it's causing a lot of problems. We're seeing, false bans and all sorts of crazy stuff, which thankfully hasn't happened to us, because that would be devastating. But there's this thing that happens now where you can put YouTube into restricted mode and look at your channel, and you can see how many videos are hidden, right? Well, when you do that on my channel, an absurd amount of videos and live streams are hidden. And I am not a mature streamer. I don't use mature language. We don't discuss mature topics. As soon as I schedule a live stream, this happens. Now, I think there's probably a portion of my audience that actually uses restricted mode, and I suddenly don't even show up for them. They probably think that I just disappeared from the platform. You literally can't see my live streams when I'm live if you're running restricted mode. A lot of people over the years would say, hey, I love that you're safe for work. I've got my kids in the room, right? Unfortunately, I think because a live stream immediately gets flagged as potentially mature, they're not saying the content's mature, they're saying potentially it could be. Well, because that's happening, my other concern is I appeal to, moms and dads and people that like that I'm safe for work. And I worry that their viewing habits are very much not watching mature content. So if I've got a live stream that has been automatically flagged as potentially mature, it probably never shows up on their homepage. It's why all of a sudden, our impressions for live streams just took an absolute dive, plummeted. It's like we're not getting pushed in front of people all of a sudden, and I think that's why. We know they're aware of it. We know they're working on it. But those two things absolutely devastated me this year. It was completely out of my control. I did self-reflection, and I received feedback and criticism, and I made changes. We changed the tone of the streams. We stopped talking about certain subjects. I tried to own my part in this, but I can only do so much. I feel like we're putting on a great show. I feel like the vibe has been amazing. I feel like the vibe's been very upbeat and light and enjoyable. I feel like the debates are more passionate and fun than mean or I can get a little sharp in how I talk to people. I've tried to tone that down, but there is only so much that I can do. I'm at the mercy of the platform to a certain degree. One of the things we did this year that made all of this worse is we took some of our most faithful viewers and supporters and we sent them away. We sent them over to Twitch. YouTube doesn't understand that. All it knows is very faithful people aren't here anymore. Very faithful gifters aren't here anymore. And gifting took a hit. Viewership took a hit. All of it took a hit. So I was like, we're in a boat and we're headed for catastrophe. If we don't course adjust now, this could go in a very bad way. So I announced this morning we would have to bring the public stream back to YouTube. We could still do sub only over there, because we're still going to do members only stuff here as well. We could kind of do it in both places because you can still support me over there with your primes and everything else if that's easier for you. But the other thing that just took a big hit, which is, I've been transparent about this. If you're going to live stream like this for 6 hours a day and you're the size that we are, this only works if I have direct support. And I don't put my bills over here and have you pay for them. I don't do that. I've never done that. I've always said, if we hit this goal, I will do a thing. If we hit this goal, I will do a thing. It's a value proposition, and I give it to you guys to do that. But I've also been pretty transparent, as many people are. If you like the show and you want the show to continue, the show needs to be supported. That's how this works. Really big streamers will tell you that, you can live off the ad revenue and you don't need to ask for memberships and subs. That's coming from a very privileged position, like when you're at that level. I was at that level 5 years ago. I never had to ask for support. It just happened. Unfortunately, we got a reset button pressed on my career 5 years ago, and we're now in a position where I have to pretty regularly, communicate, hey, I do this full time. It's only possible because of folks supporting. So for 4 years, we've tried to say that on YouTube, and it hasn't ever really caught traction. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But people gifted like crazy today. We're really trying to put that member count back in order. And I've always had the policy of being transparent with you guys. I know people are going to clip this or attempts to say I'm begging or begging for sympathy or begging for support. I am not doing that. I am shooting straight with you about the reality of the situation. These things happened. Many of them were outside of our control. What is within our control, we have tried to make as many changes as we can within what we can control. We really have. I've had a lot of green rooms where I've had a lot of people criticizing me and my channel and how I do things, and I've received the feedback and made adjustments. That's not easy to do, but I felt like self-reflection and self-analysis of what I do is helpful. And if you've been around, for the duration of this year, I think it's fair to say I've improved vibe. I've improved how I respond to trolls and to obvious bait and obvious clip snipers. Like, I've tried to tone all that down and not feed into it. But I've gotten to the point where I'm running out of things that I'm in control of. I got to kind of put some of it in your hands and say, hey, this only works if we've got support, and we need to rally right now, and we need to kind of bring everybody home to YouTube. That's essentially what happened. So I would rather shoot straight and be transparent instead of do like a surprise and be like, yeah, everything's bad and I didn't tell you guys, So, yeah. YouTube has majorly effed up. I watch you every day and all month. You have not appeared on my main feed. That's another problem, and I'm here to tell you, I think one of the reasons that's happening is because of that restricted thing. For whatever reason, the minute you schedule a live stream, I've not said a word. If you turn restricted mode on, you won't see that live stream. You won't. It disappears. And I believe all live streams, for whatever reason, are now preemptively flagged as potentially mature. If you go to YouTube, I'm going to show you. If you go to YouTube and click on live and you're like, hey, I want to watch live streams right now, right? If you click on live, this is what it looks like. There's all these live streams you can watch. Okay? Yeah, man, I'd love to watch some live streams right now. I would. If you put on restricted mode, watch what happens. This is what the live page looks like on YouTube when you're on restricted mode. You cannot see a single live stream. Now, I'm not saying that there's this monsoon of people that are running restricted mode. What I'm saying is that internally something is messed up. They're just automatically saying that any live stream is potentially mature. Well, what that does is it murders the reach of that video. Like, it's going to really, really hurt its reach. Now, really, really large channels have a volume advantage. If you go look at bigger channels than mine, this isn't affecting them. We are small enough that this has absolutely killed us. Like, my impressions on a live stream are just so much lower than they've ever been. And that has nothing to do with me and the vibe and the content. It's literally that the video is being shown to less people. And I think that's playing a part. Now, there's multiple pieces playing a part, but I think that's one of the aspects that's playing a part. The only thing I can do is rub the paddles together and kind of like defib the channel with being like, hey, boom, we got a lot of people back. We got a lot of people supporting. Hey, our videos are worth pushing out there. That's why every member should be in the Discord. You'll get a notification when he goes live. That is correct. Yeah. And yes, we did avoid some of the easy growth topics like the woke war and all of that. Like, I don't want to get into any of that stuff. I certainly like guys that do it. I like content from guys like Birdman and others. People are getting a little bit fed up with the fake culture war and the anti-woke nonsense. I certainly could dabble in some of that if I find a space where I feel like I want to do it and how I want to talk about it. But that will never be a fixture on the channel. That'll never be something I'm doing like on a regular basis. What we try to do is offer an environment where we can discuss and debate gaming news in a fun way where it's safe for work. And, we don't have a home-based game, which is a significant challenge. We know that. But we have a very, very strong core people, a core group of people here that support what we do. And I'm essentially saying, hey, I got to put you all back in one place again. I can't have us spread across two platforms. Because a storm basically hit the platform this year, we unknowingly made that storm a little bit worse by putting, a portion of our viewers and supporters on Twitch. So I love and appreciate everybody who supported me over there on Twitch, but unfortunately, that was adding to the problem. because YouTube is just a cold calculating machine. It has no idea why that many people suddenly were over there or not over there. It doesn't know where they are. It just knows that they're not on my channel. So, second time YouTube blipped on me today. I've not had any issues on my end, but happening to my buddy who streams, he plays nothing but racing games. It's 100% safe for work. His viewership, his reach, his everything tanked this year. YouTube being YouTube. Yeah, they need to figure out how to do that. Like if you run a channel like mine and I have thousands upon thousands of videos, 2 of them, I have 2 shorts that are marked for like limited advertisements because there's violence like in the content. Well, if that's all that's on my channel that's marked like that, I should be getting a pass. Until I prove otherwise, my live stream should not be flagged as potentially mature. Like, that's ridiculous. Now, some people, they're going to have to wear it because they're going to boot up and they're going to curse and swear, and some of y'all are throwing around the N-word. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, yeah, you're going to instantly be flagged as mature. Like, you go to some channels and, like, all their content disappears unrestricted, and that is deserved. That's how that should work. You make mature content. You make content that is, either not suitable for all advertisers or people aren't going to want to see, especially if your thumbnails get really risque. But my content is so, I am light years away from being considered mature. So, I love to support you, but you ban me every time I disagree with you in debate. Wish you would unban the main account so I can. I do not ban people for disagreeing with me. That's not true. I'm all about giving second chances, but the only time you get banned in this channel is when you make it personal or you're blatantly dishonest. What are your thoughts on gaming having its worst month since '95 for software and hardware because of the economy, something else? I think that's probably being felt in many markets, not just gaming. Yeah. Do you find shorts useful for your channel link? He just outed his alt. Bye-bye. Yeah. Do you find shorts useful for your channel link? I mean, shorts can be... You got to leverage shorts properly. You've got to leverage shorts properly. I think shorts can be leveraged properly. Like what I did today potentially brought people into the stream. Or maybe not. Who knows? But... it's out there getting me in my face and my opinion in front of people. That's really all it's supposed to do. That's its purpose. You don't want to make a short that says, hey, I'm live, come watch me. No. People in the shorts shelf, I hate that. But if it's a video that contains your opinion and somebody can engage with it as a short, which is what I did today, that's what it's supposed to be. So I made a short today with kind of like me asking the question, is anybody tired of this with Expedition 33? And it's doing fine. It's out there doing its job. Did it bring a bunch of people to the stream today? Yeah, probably not. But it's still communicating something to the machine. The machine's like, oh, people are watching this guy. People are engaging with this guy. Oh, he's talking about Expedition 33. Do you see what you're doing? You're trying to communicate to the machine because the machine is... it's as smart as it is stupid. Does that make sense? These machines are very smart and very sophisticated. They are equal parts stupid. You've really got to make it easy for them. You've got to be like, I'm talking about Expedition 33 and Expedition 33 gameplay and Expedition 33 game of the year. Blah, blah. You guys just feed it. So it's like, oh, he's talking about Expedition 33. And chat analysis comes in here as well. Like, they want to know what we're talking about. So that's why we try to, I keep you guys, we keep on subject. So these are all things that don't concern you, but it's the reality of the world we're now in. So we are attempting to navigate these waters, I try to imagine we're on a cruise ship, okay? And when you're on a cruise ship, you don't care about how deep the water is. You don't care the difficulties they're having navigating the boat. You're just trying to have a good time. You're trying to sit in the shade and sip a margarita and read a book, right? Maybe soak your feet, whatever. Get in a jacuzzi. You don't care. But periodically, the captain's got to say, hey, we're going to have to divert course to avoid a storm, because if we go through the storm, you're all going to get rained on. It's going to slow us down a little bit, but we'll make it up, blah, 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 blah. Now, he's not doing that every day and every hour. That'd be annoying. But periodically, I got to kind of be the captain to say, listen, we're all on this boat together. We were headed to bad waters. We're having to adjust our course here, and I need your help. And that's kind of the long and short of it. And people that rallied today and gifted, and people that choose to support the next couple of weeks, end of the year here is pretty pivotal. We need to end the year strong. We really do. We need the membership to bounce back. We need people to start to catch the vision of, I'm here every day. I listen on the regular. I should grab a membership. I've really tried to cast that vision the last couple of years. YouTube's culture is very resistant to that. I understand. I get it. But those are the things in my control, is like how I communicate it and what I offer, as an incentive to like, hey, let's hit a goal. Let's do something fun. Those are all the things within my control. I can't control whatever the heck they're doing with AI, whatever the heck they're doing with this restricted mode. That is completely out of my control. I don't have any control over that. My hope is that a lot of this stuff gets rectified in the new year. A lot of times you roll over into January and they do some resets and they do some fixes and some changes, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers that we start to see that difference. Because we have almost 60,000 subscribers, and I need live streams to get more impressions. They need to be seen more, and they're just not being seen a lot right now. So I'm hoping they can rectify that. If they don't rectify that, this is something I said this morning in Twitch, and this is so important. In the 4 years that I've been doing this, YouTube does this all the time. They make a change, and stuff gets messed up, and everybody freaks out. We never really had to freak out, because I always had a base of people supporting me. Full transparency. If the viewership's going like this and it's haywire and the turnout's down or whatever, and we know that YouTube is tinkering, if I look at the revenue and it's healthy, I don't care. I'm like, I'm doing my job. I'm putting on a show and people are supporting me, right? This is why big YouTubers tend to freak out a little bit, because they don't do that. They make money from the viewership and the ads. We are supported by you guys. So we were able to weather a lot of the storms of YouTube the last couple of years. They'd start tinkering and we wouldn't have to panic, because I had this base of people saying, we're with you. We support this. We're going to keep this thing going. This year, the weather hit, the bad weather hit, the storms hit, because they made changes, and we inadvertently made it worse because we sent a bunch of people over to Twitch. And all YouTube knew was, man, people aren't gifting as much. Why? Well, they're over there gifting on Twitch. People aren't watching as much. Why? They're over there watching on Twitch. YouTube doesn't know why that happened. It just does, they don't know why that happened. They just know people left. So we came to the tough decision yesterday. I was like, this is the last thing we can change in an effort to like course correct this problem that we're having. We got to bring people back to YouTube from Twitch. Are you getting the vertical live streaming option? Yes. It seems to be working. They're categorizing it as an other, though. It says that like 14% of our views today came from other. I don't know what other is, given that we've never seen that before on a live stream, like double digits percentage from others. I'm assuming that's from the vertical. So people are seeing us from the vertical. The worry would be it hurts view duration, but view duration is healthy today. Every day we've run it, my view duration has been totally healthy. Because the worry would be when you're in the short shelf, somebody's going to be like, oh, it's a talk show. Oh, it's a talk show. And they're just swiping past. So they're watching for 2 seconds, right? We seem to be using that feature, and I don't know for meeting people. We met somebody the other day did the gift thing where you can like, it's like the gifts on TikTok, where they can like send like images or whatever. Somebody did that the other day and had found me through the short shelf. So, hang on. What's this thing that they're talking about, the next Larian RPG? Sven here saying, that's how you pronounce his name, right? It's Sven. I'm saying that correctly, am I not? He says, it's been a week since we announced Divinity, our next RPG, and a lot has become lost in translation. Larian's DNA is agency. Hang on, let me go back here and let's add this to the total. Thank you so much, Henry, for adding a gifted member to the total. Listen, guys, those single gifteds add up. You guys go on single gifted trains, and it is massive. It's massive. There's a lot of folks here. You do not have to feel like 10 and 20 and 50 bombs are the only thing that can happen. Those singles add up. So do the light count. Make that light count go up. That also helps us big time. Gabriel says, is it pronounced Sween? Longtime lurker, I'm back here from Twitch. Admittedly, Twitch works better for me because I can put it in the background, but Evitt, we ride with Lono. If you sign up for YouTube Premium, you can do that here. Unfortunately, it is something that they charge for. So, anyway. Larian's DNA is agency. Everything we work towards is to the benefit of our teams, games, and players. A better workday and a better game. Our success comes from empowering people to work in their own way and bring the best out of their skill and craft, and so that we can make the best RPGs we could possibly make. Let's see. He put this up like 20 minutes ago. He's already screaming towards 100,000 views. In that context, it would be irresponsible for us to not evaluate new technologies. However, our processes are always evolving, and where they are not efficient or fail to align with how we are, we will make changes. To give you more insight, we'll do an AMA featuring our different departments after the holiday break, in which you'll get the opportunity to ask us any questions you have about Divinity and our dev process directly. We'll announce the date in the new year. In the meantime, I wish you all happy holidays. Hey, we got some singles coming in right now. A single from Risic and a single from Broken Earth, and then a 5-bomb from Risic, and we are now a 10-bomb away from 425. Yo, Raven, I appreciate that. We are here, and we're going to be, we're not going anywhere but supporting Lono. I appreciate that. Positive vibe check. Thank you, Raven. Seriously. If you guys lurk and listen and like, the 3 L's of a live stream, you lurk, you listen, you like, that is massively helpful. If you're periodically chatting and putting emotes as a lurker, that also helps. Chat activity is massively helpful. It really does mean a lot. If you can gift, if you can upgrade, all those things count. They all help. And I really appreciate it. You guys have certainly nudged the boat in the right direction today. And sometimes that's all it takes, is a little nudge, and then you're back on course. So, they're starting to make it sound like they know it's a problem. I will say it this way, Paul. It's not that they know it's a problem. They know that the public's perception can become a problem. The public's perception of AI and how it's used and what people think about it, that's a significant thing. Prime member, but over here supporting. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, another thing people did today is a bunch of people ordered coffee. And I know you're like, coffee? We're selling our light roast and medium roast right now for $10.95 a bag. And a bunch of people are taking advantage of it. It's great for, you got a holiday office party coming up. You want some stocking stuffers. You know, a coffee drinker. This is high quality coffee. This is not white label. We have a company that roasts and bags it for us. They did flavor matching. And it ships to my house, and then we ship it to you. This is a great way to support, and you get great coffee for cheaper than you can pretty much get it anywhere right now. Taylor Made with 42 months says, big love, my man. Always good to see you, Taylor Made. Appreciate you, dude. Riding with me for 42 months. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Zinthos gifts a member, and the single train continues. The single train continues. Thank you so much. And we got more people kind of pouring in all of a sudden, and it looks like I'm landing on your home pages. So that's good to see, because we are 2 hours and 42 minutes in. So I'm already seeing that we're being treated better today. So that's great. It's not going to be a light switch, by the way, y'all. It's not going to be a light switch. Like, we're not going to suddenly be sitting here with like 800 people watching. But we are certainly seeing good results here from you guys kind of rallying the troops today and supporting. And hitting like and chatting, all those things. It all helps. So thank you. I think folks are overreacting with how Larian uses AI. And to be honest, Larian should quit feeding into the people complaining about it. I don't agree with you. How are those impressions looking? those are pretty much the same. Those haven't improved yet. I don't know if those are going to improve until they fix that restricted thing. So, you should make a video, is AI killing gaming? Boom, 100,000 views easy. I don't know if people are liking that right now. I think people don't like hearing about AI. I don't know. Like 12 days ago, Jacob Weeby did a video about it. And he didn't get like amazing results. Like he got fine results for him. But like, I don't know. I was looking at who's covering it, and it feels like the minute somebody talks about it, their videos kind of underperform. It's like I think like it's stigmatized. I think it's stigmatized. I think people see AI and they're like, I'm not clicking on that. I don't want to hear about AI. I'm sick of it. It's like when people were talking about NFTs back in the day. You could have gone live or made a video being critical of NFTs, and it would tank as a video because people didn't want to see it. They're like, I don't want to hear about freaking NFTs anymore. You see what I'm saying? Ant got no games, gifts a member and gets us to 418. Thank you so much. The single train continues. Only if we had an entire video series about AI and gaming on the channel. Oh, wait, we do. Did you promote it as We're Doomed or something like that? No. When we did the NFT thing in the past, we were just talking about it. I think we're being critical of it. I'm looking at anybody that touches the AI Larian thing, and they're not getting great results. I don't think people like hearing about it. I don't know why. Maybe they're either one of two things. They're either checked out on the topic and they don't freaking care. So perhaps, think of it this way. Let's say you've been coming to YouTube for a while, and anytime you see a video about AI, let's say it's like positive videos, how to use AI, and you say, I don't want to see this. You click the little 3 dots and you say, don't recommend it. I don't want to see this type of video, right? Well, what do you think is going to happen when a YouTuber that you like makes a video about AI? The platform is going to say, you don't like videos about AI, so we're not going to show this to you. Do you see? Like, I think that's what's happened. I think a lot of people are sick of seeing videos about that topic. They're clicking those 3 dots. I don't want to see this. Or they're just not clicking the videos in general. And YouTube internalizes that as, this user doesn't want to see videos about this topic. So when you make a video about it, you might have audience members that want to hear your opinion. They're never going to see the video because they have demonstrated, a reluctancy, or I don't want to watch that. Does that make sense? I think the same thing happened with NFTs. I think people were making videos about NFTs, and people were like, I am sick of hearing from these NFT bros who are trying to get me in on this stupid pyramid scheme. Don't recommend this channel. Don't recommend these videos to me. And then when I boot up and talk about it, I'm critical of it and saying it's stupid. All YouTube knows is, people don't want to hear about NFTs, bro. They're all clicking no. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, see you, Cat Uncle. The people who love it probably have stock in it. Vocal minority. Yep. Well, and the people that are going to be like super pro NFT or super pro AI and like AI slot videos and stuff, they're not hanging out here. They're not subbed to my channel. They're not. They're not subbed here, bro. Maybe some of you are. Maybe some of you are all about it. These faceless slop channels and, making good money, making AI trash. They're already having to clean all that stuff up off of the platform because there's so much of it. So that's my sort of off-the-cuff theory as to why whenever we've tried to talk about some of these subjects, and not just us, I'm going to other channels, like really big channels, and I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, people aren't getting great results from this as a topic. Like, they're getting like half of their normal viewership on a video. Like, if a really big streamer uploads a video and you go and check it and it's been on their channel for a couple of days and it has like half of their typical viewership, that's a sign that people are rejecting that topic. Like, people don't want to hear about it. And AI certainly keeps landing in that category. I've gone to very large channels that try to broach this subject, and I'm like, oh wow, that video pulled about 40 or 50% of their normal. You know, the Larian AI thing is a perfect example of this. So it makes sense. And if you think about it in the realm of a topic that people are sort of becoming, fatigued with, exhausted with, or they feel a level of antagonism about it and animosity about it, then yeah, that's going to have an effect on how well a video does. I think it's one of the reasons why stop speed bumping your comments. Huh? If you judge or review a game that's still in alpha state, you are probably wrong. If you showcase your brand new game when it is in alpha state, you are probably stupid. You're probably stupid. It's not my fault that Bungie showcased their dadgum game in an alpha state. That was their choice. What were we supposed to do exactly when they showcase an alpha? Were we all supposed to say, now guys, we can't make any judgments here. No first impressions, no analysis because it's in alpha. What the frick? They chose to do it. They brought the game to the public and they said, here's our next big game. And it was in an alpha. They chose to do that. What am I supposed to do? Not do any analysis? Not be critical of how it looks? Jiminy Christmas. I mean, they listened to the feedback and they made improvements because they showed us a game that needed it. Winged Wheel with a gifted member. Thank you so much. We're at 419 on the week. Thank you. I still get videos of those people who are only talking about how everything is woke and gaming is cooked, even though I tried to remove them from the channel. YouTube is broken. It's difficult in that topic in particular, Alex, because if you're of a certain age, and if you're a guy especially, so if you're a man of a certain age and you're interested in gaming, boy, YouTube is just going to keep showing you. They're going to think, and they're like, isn't this what you want to see? All the other guys in your age demographic are watching this. And you're like, no. For the 10th time, no. And that it's just such a trend within the user base. It's just such a trend. If you're of the right age and gender, they're going to show you that content, dude, over and over and over again. So you blocked all those channels one by one. Okay, so we've had an absolutely stellar day support-wise. I don't like streams going longer than 3 hours. Unless, of course, you guys want to do that. For the time being, we are still doing Green Room in the Discord, okay? Green Room's coming back to YouTube in January. So between now and January, make sure that you're at Member Plus and above. If you guys, in the next, how long do we got? Okay, so I'm at 2:51. In the next 7 minutes, okay, 7-minute countdown here. What do we want to do? Let's just go for the goal. If you guys can hit the goal in the next 7 minutes, we'll just keep streaming. We'll just vibe and chill and do whatever. I can be compelled to go long. If not, that's fine. We'll just shut down and go to Green Room. Streams like this, I don't like them exceeding past 3 hours. It's easier for people to watch them later, and they process faster, so then you can see the chat. I'm thinking of the people that come later. If you watch these as a VOD, I'm largely doing that so that you have a video that's processed and you can see the chat and you can see the comments. That is definitely something that we have noticed is better if we're under 3. The magic number, Tenor Dude, hits 420. We are a 5 bomb away from 425. I owe you guys another member. Somebody drop the 5 bomb and let's land that plane, and then I'll gift one right on top. Let me get ready in case you guys do it. I always like tag teaming the gifting. Just got here and heard about the change. I'll switch my support to YouTube moving forward. Soul Train, I really do mean this. I really appreciate you guys being flexible. I mean it. That is a heartfelt thanks when I say this. It eats me up when I have to make it. Excuse me, I'm not crying. It eats me up when I have to make a change like this. I don't like it. I don't. You guys buy in and support and keep this thing going, and I don't like having to to shift things around where it feels like, you know, hopefully it doesn't feel like a rug pull to anybody. You guys believed in going back over there, and you helped it, and it sadly is just a change we have to make. So, yeah, targeted gifting is supposed to be coming, Wolf Saints. We don't know when, but it apparently is being worked on. So, right now, I would like them to work on the problems first. Yo, Mark Anthony adds to the total 421. Thank you for that single gifted, Mark Anthony. I wish they would make it more fun when I get to pick. Yeah, target gifting is a planned feature, but the way they sit and move their planned features can take years. Yeah. Right now, it's time to put out the fires. It's time to put out the fires. They've got to. They got to fix what's broke, and then they can start to think about features. You know? They've got to. Like somebody somewhere has got to be ringing the bell and saying, why is every single scheduled live stream marked and flagged as potentially mature? Like, why is that happening? That should not be happening. That doesn't make an ounce of sense. So, what's YouTube? It seems more like AdTube lately. I can turn down the frequency. We might try that as well. So, from my understanding, a sizable amount of the new product teams are tasked to problem solving. Oh, I bet. I bet. They're like, hey, you're working on that cool super chat thing that like is going to add stickers. Yeah, you're not doing that right now. We got to fix this. I'm not surprised at all that they're switching into problem solving mode. Gee, many Christmas. They have really made a mess of things. All right, how much time? You guys got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So unless somebody goes crazy and makes this hit 500 on their own, we're going to be going to Green Room. And between now and January, you're going to want to make sure that you're at Member Plus so you can come to Green Room, because Green Room will be Member Plus and above on YouTube starting again in January. And we appreciate that. We do extra content and members only content for you guys. It's not just you. Just try to watch a video for ads before a clip starts. Yeah. Well, they're doing something with the AI. They're trying to do like auto ad placement, and it's supposed to do it once and then not again until you've watched enough of the content. And I think it misfires. Surprise, everybody. The AI's not working very good, and it'll be like bam, 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 bam. It'll just obliterate you. Yeah, we've had to go back, and I forgot to do it. Member Plus from my man Soul Train coming in, and that gets us to 422. We're 3 members away from the next milestone. Thank you, Soul Train. And we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and we're out of here. It's the final countdown. But yeah, it's not supposed to do that. Yo, what's good, 809 Lion? It's literally supposed to give you one and then say, don't give them another one for X amount of time. We just gave them one. But it's messing up. So I keep forgetting we're supposed to be going back to past broadcasts. We have to kind of babysit the ad placement, because it'll go absolutely crazy. Upgrade counts as 2. He didn't upgrade. He was just jumping back in. He used to sub over here. He's coming from Twitch. You know what? All Member Pluses count as 2. He jumped back in. You're right. We'll just count it as 2. So we're 2 away. And there's a gifted from Lone Wolf. 424. Somebody's going to bump this to 425. I can feel it. I'm ready to pull the trigger on mine. And there it is, a Member Plus from Helio Lima. Here comes mine for the 425. And we're probably going to be getting out of here in the next 60 seconds. Unless we get 75 members in 60 seconds. I was saying if we hit 500 before tomorrow, I would extend. And then all we got to work on tomorrow then would be stretch. But I'm happy to go to Green Room in the next 60 seconds. If you want to come to Green Room, you can prepare right now in the description of this video, or I'll actually put the Discord link in chat. I'll just use the Discord command. It's a great way to connect with the community. It's a great way to listen to content or come to a town hall where you can talk to other members of this community as well as Creature about what we're doing and why we're doing it, and provide feedback and how we could change and how we could improve and all of that. So thank you guys for a stellar day as we attempt to do a little housekeeping and do a little course correction. I'm glad that, for 2.5 hours today, we didn't really have to talk about any of this stuff. We just had a great show and did some fun segments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As we bring things to a close, hit that like button, get us to 300 likes, and head over to the Discord to join us for Green Room. Thank you guys so much for what you do for the channel and for my family and for those coffee orders. Remember to go to reforgeroast.com as a way. I can't get my volume. Okay. Well, anyway, there it is. All right. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord.